Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, you want to make sure that you get that question in the form that's in the description of this stream right now, because we just have a few in there, and the likelihood of you getting your question answered through that form is going to be extremely high if you get it in there right now. But I'm also, for the people that are going to be joining late and that kind of stuff, I'm also going to just be pulling questions out of the chat here a little bit later as well. But for those of you that are like, hey, I definitely want to get my question answered instead of hoping to maybe get it pulled out of the chat, then in that case, make sure that you go ahead and get it in the form that is in the description of this live stream right now. I also want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by Tubebuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. Tubebuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery so you can, get found easier on YouTube. In addition to that, they also help you optimize your thumbnails through A/B testing. What that is where you can upload, or you can actually have your video and then you can upload another thumbnail for your video, and Tubebuddy will swap them back and forth, and it'll give you a report letting you know which ones that people responded to better so that you can swap them out if you need to. That and a bunch of other additional tools. But Tubebuddy has 90 different tools that you can use as a YouTube content creator. You can try it for free at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin, and you also can upgrade if you decide to. Just as a heads up, I'll get a commission there if you do decide to upgrade, but you can try that whole thing at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. And if you are under 1,000 subscribers, then in that situation, you are also winning there, because if you're under 1,000 subscribers, they also give you a discount on that as well. Now, I also want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by StreamYard. StreamYard is what I co-sponsored, I should say, by StreamYard. StreamYard is what I use to live stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. StreamYard is used by me because it is extremely easy to use. They do all the heavy lifting on the cloud. So when I moved to my new place, from time to time while we're streaming, the internet will go down or the power will go down because I'm out in the boonies. And because of that, since I'm streaming up to the cloud, StreamYard actually holds the stream open so that I can come in and join on my phone if I want, and I can hold the stream together while I'm waiting for my power or the internet to come back on if there's a flicker of some kind, which we've had more than once here on Nimmin Live. So you can check them out at StreamYard.com, and you can see what StreamYard can do for you. But when it comes to StreamYard, another really awesome thing about it is it's easy to use. In addition to that, you can easily bring guests into your stream as well. So make sure that you check them out at StreamYard.com if you are a live streamer. All right. So I hope everybody has had a fantastic week. Paul Peck Drywall Tube, what is up, my man? Savvy Turtle, good morning. Nice to see you here. Doug Hewson, what is up, my man? So I picked up some, and I've got a shirt over there too. Picked up some Doug Hewson merch here. Got a mug, and I've got it. Working it out here. Got to turn it so everybody can see it. There we go. But yeah, I got that. Got a t-shirt. So definitely you can find that over on Doug's channel. If you just look for Doug Hewson right here in the chat, you'll be able to see his name. Click on that, and then you can go over and pick that up over on your over on his channel, I should say. Now, here's what's going down. If you're new to the live stream, or if you're watching this on the, actually, let's back up a little bit. First, if you're new to the live stream, what we're going to be doing today is I'm answering your YouTube questions. So we're going to be pulling some of the questions out of the chat. We're going to be pulling some of the questions out of the form that is linked down in the description below. And the reason that we have that form is because it just makes it easy to keep things organized. It keeps people from feeling excluded and that sort of thing. So if you have a question, make sure that you get it into that form. I also want to let you know that this stream does have an audio version as well. I release those a week after the live stream. So if you're somebody that's watching this on the replay and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I'm like watching this at work. So because of that, maybe I should just listen to the audio version if you're trying to, conserve your mobile data. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would appreciate the watch time on YouTube, but for your sake, if it's easier for you, save just mobile data, things like that. If you just go to nimminlivepodcast.com, then you will see there where you can actually get the podcast. So just wanted to share some awareness about that as well. And if you are new here to this stream, what we are doing is throughout the course of the stream, we're usually live for about 3 hours or so. And over the course of the stream, what we do is I just answer questions that, that you guys give me. So because of that, when we're first starting the stream, like right now, I have no idea the direction that we're going to go in during this live stream. Based on the questions that you asked, we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. So because of that, if you're watching this on the replay or you're listening to this on the replay, feel free to skip around a little bit, because if you skip around a little bit, you're going to run into some information that is going to be valuable to you. And of course, you don't need to skip around. You can just listen all the way through if you would like, because we talk about all kinds of different things about YouTube and just being a content creator in general. So make sure that you just kind of skip around and give it a chance, so to speak. So Little Crafty Nook, what is going on? Nice to see you in here. Albie-tastic, nice to see you in the stream as well. Gambling Granny, love that channel name. I hope that you are doing fantastic. So the very first thing that we're going to do here is I'm actually going to start with a question right out of the chat. And this question is from A Start Gaming, and it says, does hashtags help in SEO? Does Tubebuddy help a lot on YouTube growth? Tubebuddy helps a ton, but keep in mind that just like with any tool, you also have to make good content, right? So Tubebuddy's not going to all of a sudden make your content awesome, and that's ultimately the thing that really gets you the growth on YouTube, but it's going to help you make sure that you're targeting the right words, or not the right words, but the right topics with your content. It's going to make sure that you're using thumbnails that are effective for your audience. It's going to, with their SEO optimizer, it takes you through the process of actually optimizing your content so that when you are trying to get it over in YouTube search, that you are giving yourself that opportunity based on them helping you optimize everything and basically teach you essentially through their SEO optimizer how to, through metadata, give yourself the best possible chance of showing up in search. But at the end of the day, you as a content creator, you still have to be able to get people to click. You still have to be able to give a great experience for them in your video content as well. But in terms of hashtags, so let's talk about hashtags for a second. So where hashtags can come in beneficial for you, especially if you're just getting started, is with hashtags, there are search results pages for hashtags. So if somebody's watching another video, they click on that hashtag, then YouTube is going to show just like a search display for the hashtags. And if you are, trying to get traffic or trying to get views for specific things, then one of the things that's really awesome is that you can show up in those search results in some cases easier than you can show up in search. So because of that, you might want to consider using hashtags from time to time, or, if you have a very specific thing that you're targeting, giving it a shot. But it's not going to necessarily help you from an SEO perspective, from a search engine optimization perspective. The way that it's going to help you is it's just one more way that people can find your content. So that's the way that it helps you. But if you use hashtags, you don't use hashtags, one of the things to think about is that if you do use hashtags and you are creating that link underneath your video, you're also creating an exit underneath your video as well. So if somebody's watching your video and they see that hashtag, for them, they can be like, oh, hey, wonder what this is. And then they click on it. And then next thing you know, those people have left your video and then they're watching, somebody else's stuff on YouTube instead of yours. So, there's two different perspectives that you can look at hashtags. But from a SEO standpoint, no. But from a, hey, I can show up when somebody clicks on this hashtag, absolutely, they can help you that way to, bring some views in that way. So the next question that we're going to pull here is going to be from the forum, and this is from Krishna Raghavendran. I hope I'm saying that correctly. The type of channel is coding and MIT App Inventor. The goal of the channel is for people to create mobile apps. And the question, since yesterday, my sub count is different than the real-time live count in the channel page. Also, my views are lower than usual. Is there any YouTube glitch, or am I the only one who has this problem? So we got a bunch of people in here, a bunch of YouTubers in here. Has anybody else noticed that they're having, anything wacky going on with your back end of your YouTube channel? If so, let us know. If not, if everything seems normal, let us know that as well. You can just put, glitch, or you can put normal, so that we can know, what's going on with you, so that we can get, more than, what's going on with me. We can get, 200 plus people, letting them know at scale, hey, is this, is this an issue? But here's the thing that I want to bring to your attention though. When it comes to like your sub count being different than the real time count and on the channel page and all that stuff, don't really worry about that kind of stuff. Like the thing that you actually want to worry about and spend your energy on is, how can I get people clicking on my videos more? How can I get people watching my videos for longer periods of time? How can I get people engaging my content more? How can I get people to share my stuff? How can I add more value to the people that are watching my content? Like those questions will move the needle for you on YouTube way more than like, hey, my view count is showing up differently here than it is here, and all of that. Because, each each surface, so to speak. So like if you see your video in YouTube search, you see your video on a homepage, or you see it in your creator studio, and then you see it on your YouTube channel page. In a lot of cases, you're going to see different things because they're all updating, at different times and things like that. So, you're going to see different things. So don't even worry about that kind of thing right now. Worry about the thing that matters if you're trying to grow your channel, which is, how can I really add more value? Value first, right? Doug Houston merch right here, but value first, right? Like, how can I add more value to the people that are watching my content? How can I explain things in a better way? How can I make my animations really cool? How can I make my gaming experience when somebody comes in to watch me play a game? How can I make that a really cool experience for them? What's something unique that I could do that other gamers aren't doing? Like, focus on that kind of stuff more than the small details of YouTube not displaying something correctly, because that's completely out of your control. However, when it comes to the value that you're bringing, that's all on you. Right? Like, you're the one that controls that 100%. So because of that, focus on those types of things, and you'll end up winning in a bigger way when you focus on those things compared to focusing on the other things, like, YouTube showing things incorrectly. So superchat. Savvy Turtle says, have some tacos and pizza with or without coffee, drink water too, gotta run, have an awesome show. Savvy Turtle, thanks, man. I appreciate the super chat and the donation there for pizza, coffee, tacos, and whatever else. So let's see here. Let me take this down here really quick, and we got that taken care of. So now I'm going to go to the next one here in the forum, and then after this one, going to hey, Hybrid Steel, what's up, man? So for this one, I'm pulling this one out of the form, and then we're going to jump back into the chat for the next question. And really quick, if this is your first time here, just do a hashtag new in the comment section so I can see how many new people that we have hanging out here. Miss Eat says, hey, Nick, I agree with you. We focus on our audience and what they like to watch, and that works well for our channel. Absolutely. At the end of the day, hey, Roger Wakefield in the house crossed 350,000 subscribers. High five and fist bump to you, Roger, crushing it. As always, he is on fire. Love seeing that. I saw your Instagram post on that one, man. Nice work, just crushing. ASMR Dream More, nice to see you in here. Hope that you are doing fantastic as well. But as we keep on going here, Pieces to Props is our next question on the list. They've been on YouTube for less than a year. The type of channel says they make props out of EVA foam and show people how to make their own. He actually said mail their own. The goal of the channel is to make a community of makers and make some ka-ching while doing so. And by ka-ching, we're just going to say money for that. And the question says, good morning, or actually evening, Nick. I'm sure in your many years of spreading YouTube knowledge, you've helped out crafting channels in the past. Now, in your opinion, would you suggest I do as another crafting channel to perhaps present my stuff in a different way, minus using an overhead view? I have an upcoming Black Widow gauntlet build. Black Widow right now, yeah, since Disney's just was just like, hey, Black Widow's now out. Yeah, Black Widow, I'd get on that like a week ago. But says, let's see here. And I want to try to present it in a different way than the normal overhead view, but all the big YouTubers that craft, that's what they do. And I'm trying to not be like them in my own. Thanks for the advice. Stay crafty and drink coffee. So cheers to the coffee there. Definitely staying crafty. But when it comes to what it is that you're doing in your content, who here, just give me a hashtag me, who here, really wants to stand out, from other people, on YouTube, other people who make content similar to yours, who here wants to like really, create that separation between you and the other people that make content like you do. If you are one of those people, because I'm one of those people, that's why I, do this kind of stuff, with my live streams, and, I try to share information in a way that, somebody that's just getting started on YouTube, and this is always a work in progress, but I try to share things in a way where when somebody's just getting started on YouTube, they can understand most of the things that we're talking about. I try to make things look a certain way and sound a certain way and create a certain vibe with what it is that I do, as a way to kind of help separate me from the other awesome people that make content like I do, because there's a lot of really good people that make this type of content. So because of that, I have my twist that I put on it, and that's one of the things that helps me stand out, right? So when it comes to you, of course, if you normally do an overhead shot, right, and then you are like, hey, I'm going to do this overhead shot, but that's what everybody else is doing, or like, I just want to experiment with doing, some side shots or trying to come up with something unique, by all means, give it a shot. And the reason that you should give it a shot is because you might find that for whatever reason that, your overhead shots, for whatever reason, maybe people don't watch those as long, or they just don't dig them as much as when you are, getting, a little bit more close up with like a side angle or something like that. So because of that, I would absolutely experiment with different camera angles. I would experiment with even lighting things in fun, unique ways, around what it is that you're doing. So for example, in Black Widow, if you can come up with any type of, thematic way to, put an entire scene together for when you're building, something like that would be cool as well. But, just experimenting with stuff until you find something to where people will start giving you a lot of great feedback in your comments, and, or you notice in your audience retention, like, wow, this, people are kind of hanging out and watching this for quite a bit. So experiment until you get to that point, and then notice that you are getting that better result, and then really lean hard into those things that do work for you. So Aussie Stoner's channel says, good work, Nimmin. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat. And let's see here, as we keep on going down the list here, we've got, whoa, here, let me pull this one up. Roger Wakefield, thank you, my man. That's a big one. Says, thank you, Nick, for all that you do. I've learned so much for you over the last 3 years, 250K subs and 38 million views. Couldn't do it without your help. Yeah, man. So you're just crushing, absolutely crushing. And like, what I think is awesome about Roger and what it is that he's doing, one is he's just an awesome guy. Two is that, he's taken something to where, from the outside, people might have looked at it as something that's mundane in terms of the type of content that he makes, helping plumbers and helping people, that have, that need to deal with plumbing, helping them with that. But then he added like an entertainment element to it. And by adding an entertainment element to it and doing reactions of these extreme situations with plumbing and things like that, like he's really taken a hold of YouTube and, really started serving his audience with some awesome, interesting content, but also educates them as well on, things that they should and shouldn't do when it comes to plumbing. But he is able to, by doing that, he's able to reach a much broader audience instead of just people that are trying to fix a very specific plumbing problem, for example. So one thing that I really like about that and his approach is that by doing that, he has positioned himself or put himself in a position to where, people are, reaching out to him, wanting him on like podcasts and stuff. They're, he's speaking on stages and all that stuff, sharing his experience about what it is that he's doing on social media with his content. Really, really awesome stuff. And anybody that does any type of content, like that, you should definitely use Roger as an inspiration because he is absolutely crushing it. Let's see here. As we keep on going down through the list here, we have Savvy Turtle as well saying this is for ASMR Dream More for a coffee break music later in the show. Thanks for that. And I also saw Tube Spanner Danielle in the house here with Tube Spanner, if I can see that one, and StreamYard, it's past that point. So I will just click on it right here. It says, you clearly don't have enough gizmos and widgets on your desk. Here's something to help you get more. Buy Nick more buttons. I guess this is what you're talking about, right? So the funny thing is this one isn't used for live streaming. This one right here. Let's see here. This isn't used for live streaming, and this one isn't used for live streaming with the little small one here. And then of course these, this stuff over here is definitely used for live streaming. But Danielle, thank you for that. I appreciate it as well. So let's see here. As we keep on going through our list here, I'm going to hop back into the forum for this, and then we're going to hop back into the chat as well. So, forum for the people that got here early, chat for the people that might just be showing up. So as we get into the chat here, we've got our third question out of the chat is from Vamsit Upadhyay. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if not. Says the type of channel is language learning. This is a really, really long question. And I like these to be, as short as possible, just succinct. Just reading through all of this. I'm not gonna be able to do this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a quick kind of glance over on this and see if I can come up with a way to kind of summarize this really quick. So he says, let's see here. Every single strategy to grow my YouTube channel to 17,000 subscribers was yours, Nick. Thanks a million. And that high five, fist bump to you. And now I'm in trouble, and I know that you're the only one to help me out. Question. One of my channels was terminated a year ago. That channel was monetized. The Gmail IDs of that channel and the AdSense link to that channel was the same, but AdSense account was not terminated, and I never verified my ID in the AdSense account because that channel was newly monetized. And the day, let's see here, that time was a rule of Google, sending the address verification. Let's see here, the pin and the address, verifying my identity. I created a new channel 11 months ago and I got it monetized. It now has 17,000 subscribers. So now my new channel and my new AdSense accounts are with my same new Gmail ID. So I'm wondering that, how do I verify my identity to my new AdSense account? Should I verify my identity in the AdSense account, or should I use my older AdSense account? So what I would do if I was in your situation, and there's some things that I do have to let you know here. The very first thing is that if it was me, one of the things that I would do is I would do everything from scratch. That would include my AdSense account. That would include my, my Google accounts, all of that. I would do that from scratch. Now, one thing that I do need to tell you though, just so that you're aware of this, and you probably are aware, that might be why you're, mentioning this in the way that you did. But when you lose one YouTube channel, like if you or your channel gets terminated, per YouTube terms of service, you're not allowed to have another YouTube channel. So because of that, just keep in mind that you are, you're on kind of risky ground, so to speak. However, if you, like what I just recommend is, like, if you're going to do something like that, if it was me, I would just start everything from scratch. But, like I said, I just got to let you know that, that is their terms of service. So make sure that you are abiding by YouTube's terms of service, of course. So next up on the list, we have, actually, we're going to the chat for this one. So here's what I want you to do. If you have a question about YouTube right now, just put a Q in front of your question, or you can just write the word question, but Q will be faster. That way I know it's for me, but just put a Q and then put the question that you have, and then I will pull it right out of the chat right here. Neil, Urban Explorer, my man, what is up? Nice to see you here in the chat. Chantel, nice to see you here as well. Hope that you are doing fantastic. Let's see here. As we are waiting for these questions to start coming in, let's see that cue so that I can know that your question is for me again. Okay, here we go. Okay, so art by Hazel Fernandez says how to crush watch hours. Thanks, Nick. Okay, so the very first thing, when how many people here are trying to get more watch hours on your YouTube channel so that you can get to the partner program, or just so that you can, just get more watch time from what it is that you're doing? Just give me a hashtag me. So when it comes to your watch time, the very first thing you got to think about is, of course, by default, the obvious thing is, you got to make good content so that people will watch your content, enjoy that content, get value from that content. And then when you publish another video, because they're getting smothered in value, those people are like, hey, they just published this other video. It's relevant to me. Therefore, I liked their last video. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to go in and watch that video. So making the good content gets people watching that content, but also gets people coming back to the channel again as well, because they know you make good stuff. In addition to that, once you do have somebody coming and interacting with what it is that you're doing, there's something I call a watch time trap. And basically with that watch time trap, all it is, that's just a fun name that I put on it. But all it is you are kind of stepping back, right? And taking a view of your YouTube channel, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, if somebody comes in and they watch one video of mine, one viewer, if they come in and they watch one video of mine, what can I do on YouTube in order to help that person find more of my content that's relevant to them in the video they're watching in as easy of a way as possible? So one of the ways that you can do that, of course, is by making sure that for the people that do get to the end of your video, that you're recommending another video to those people, and you kind of sell it a little bit. So, for example, if this live stream was an actual piece of video content, at the end of this live stream, because I'm talking about views and subscribers, I might say something along the lines of, hey, I have a series teaching you, how to get, how to become a YouTuber, step by step. And you're going to learn how to get views and subscribers and all the things that you want with YouTube. Click into this playlist right here and watch that now, right? So what I do there is I just kind of sell it a little bit, let you know what it is that you're going to be getting if you click into that. But I make it kind of like a part of the video while that end screen is up there, so that I'm telling you exactly what it is and why you should click on that particular, end screen element. Now, in addition to that, another thing that I recommend is that you also put a best for viewer. And the reason to have the two is because, one, you're recommending the video or the playlist to your audience based on the video that they're watching and what you think is the logical next step that they should take. Now, that's your recommendation. Since YouTube is way smarter than any of us in terms of knowing your audience and the content that your audience is watching on YouTube, the best for viewer is also going to show them the other pieces of, or the other piece of content in your channel that they think is the best fit for that viewer at that point in time. So you're leaning on your recommendation, plus you're leaning on YouTube's. Now, the next thing that you can do is, of course, you can pin a comment. Now, when you pin a comment, every video on YouTube that has comments, the content creator can pin a comment. What that means is you can write, just like you were going to do from your end screen where you make that recommendation, you would write out just a little quick blurb about, you know, the video they should watch next, and then you drop a link to that video or playlist. If you're trying to get watch time so that you can get to the partner program, use a playlist. But you basically, in your pinned comment, you write out, you know, this is why you should watch this video, and then you drop a link to that, and then you pin that to the top of your comment. So what you've done there is, for the people that are really into your content so far, this is where we're at so far when you're trying to get more watch time. So the people that are really into your content, that have watched your video to the end, you've got them, right? Because they're clicking on your end screen elements, some of them. And then for the people that are watching your content, but, you know, they're going down to leave comments because, you know, they want to just engage with what it is that you're doing in some way. For those people, they get to see that pinned comment, right? So, you know, you get to catch them earlier, but they get to see that pinned comment to where they can click on another video and go and watch something else there. Now, in addition to that, other things that you can do is you can also add links into your description as well, because in that way you can tell them, hey, I've got links to, you know, this playlist about this or this playlist about this. And you just make kind of like in passing remarks in your video that you have, you know, additional content that's relevant to them down in the description. Now, you don't want to just stop the video and say, hey, down in the description, blah, 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 because you don't want to necessarily hurt the performance of the current video. But let's say that if you are going through your piece of content and you mention something, you can say, oh yeah, you know, I've got a link to that down in the description below. So what you're doing is, during that video, you're spreading awareness about additional content that might be relevant to that viewer or some of the viewers that are watching the current piece of content. Now, what we've done there is we've taken that one watch page and we've turned it into an end screen link. We've turned it into a description link, and we've turned it into a pinned comment link as well. So now you've created 3 opportunities for somebody to jump to another piece of your content. And of course, you can also do the same thing with YouTube cards. Just as a quick tip for you with YouTube cards, YouTube recommends that you save those for the last 20% of your video. So just keep that in mind. So that would give us 4 just from the video watch page. Now, that's for the people that are using those different things that way based on how they're interacting with your content. Now let's keep going. So the next thing you want to think about is for the people that click on your YouTube channel name to where they're like, you know, hey, this is really good stuff. I wonder what else they have. For those people, you want to make sure that your channel page is optimized. So there you want to make sure that you have, you know, the clarity in your channel art about what it is that you're actually offering them. But from the watch time perspective, you want to make sure that at the very top of your channel page that you have your recent uploads. The reason for that is because, of course, you want to drive people into your most recent content so that YouTube can get the information that they need to understand who's a good fit for that content so that they can show it to the right people. So what you're doing there is by having your uploads playlist at the top for like mobile users, for example, when they first hit your channel page and they start scrolling, the thing that they're going to see is they're going to see that most recent uploads list, right? So you're driving people into that. But in addition to that, if you know what people are coming to your YouTube channel for, and you're like, hey, you know, I'm putting my content into playlists, and those playlists are based on the different things that, you know, I talk about, or the different things that I show people, or the different types of content I make, or whatever. So what you do is you have those playlists, but then you add those playlists to your channel page as a section. And the reason that you do this is because now what you have is on your YouTube channel page, you have the default stuff, because by default, YouTube will have like your uploads there. They'll have your popular videos. But what you want to start doing from there is you want to start categorizing your content into content sets that are relevant to the things that people come to your YouTube channel for. So as somebody hits your channel page, they're scrolling down your channel page, then they're going to see, you know, additional sets of content that matter to them based on what it is that they come to you for. Now, another thing that is really beneficial when it comes to generating more watch time is anytime you share a link to your video, anytime that you're linking to anything within your YouTube channel, if you are linking to a video, make sure you link to a video that is in a playlist. And the reason that you want to do that is because when you're linking to a video that's in a playlist, then you are taking up some of the screen real estate, so to speak, for other people. So for your viewers, so when they're watching your content, the stuff that's, you know, the closest to them in terms of in their view is other content of yours that's in that playlist as well. So those are some things to keep in mind when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, making good content to where your audience can count on you, making good content, that's going to keep them coming back, right? It's going to keep them coming back and watching your videos for longer and getting them stuck in your trap that you set up to where you do have those pinned comments. They're clicking on your end screens, they're clicking on your cards, they're hitting your channel page, they're going to the content that's relevant to them and all of that. So that's the approach that you want to take when it comes to, you know, just trying to generate more watch time from the views that you're already getting, okay? So really quick, I just want to thank Chantel here for sharing out on Twitter, just, you know, given the screenshot here and, you know, recommending, says, it's live stream night over with Nick Nimmin. I'm crocheting a blanket tonight because it's so cold here. What are you doing? Hashtag Nimminati. So thank you for sharing that, Chantel. I appreciate it. So in terms of the watch hours, hopefully that you know made sense in terms of how to set all of that stuff up. Now let's see here. As we keep on going through the list, I know there were some super chats that came in. So give me 1 second. I forgot to open that window. So give me 1 second as I go through here. And in the meantime,
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right, so let's see here. So I'll start going through some of these super chats that came in as well to make sure that I get you guys taken care of here. So let's see here. So the very first question here, the very next one I should say, is from Virtual Fix Gaming. Virtual Fix Gaming says, hey Nick, how do I boost views? My SEO tags and hashtags are all there, but still not views. Any advice? I do Call of Duty videos, tips, walkthroughs. And really quick, Ask V. Thank you all. No, that was last week, but hey, thanks anyway for the super sticker. But when it comes to getting more views, one thing that's really important, who here is under like 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, or who here would consider themselves new when it comes to making content for YouTube? Just give me a hashtag me. But the thing that you want to make sure that you're thinking about in relation to Virtual Fix's question here about how do I boost my views, saying my SEO and my tags and my hashtags are all there, but still no views, any advice? So when it comes to optimizing your videos for search, the idea is that you are optimizing your video for the sake of giving yourself a chance to show up in search, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to stay in search. Okay. So if you're optimizing your video for a specific keyword or keyword phrase or just for a topic and it shows up in search, like that's, like that one, you are going to show up there, at least a handful of times. And the difference is going to come from how people respond to your content in search. So what I mean by that is, when you're optimizing your content for search, you can have all of the right words. You can have your title structured the right way. You can have, all of that stuff put together. You could be using the right tags, hashtags, all those things that you're adding to your videos, all your metadata. You can have all that stuff together. But at the end of the day, search works just like every other surface on the platform. It's on performance. So what that means is if you show up in search, and when you're there in search, people, when they're searching for a specific thing, your video shows up there. If people are not clicking on your video and then watching your video for an amount of time that would make it competitive for that particular search phrase or that particular search query, then in that case, what's going to happen is YouTube is going to, the priority of your video is going to drop, and the priority of the videos that are proven performers are going to maintain up there at the top. Now, where all of that changes is, let's say that, that sometimes people are clicking on yours, sometimes they're clicking on the other ones and all of that, but you're accumulating a lot of data for YouTube that says something along the lines of, people are clicking on this at a competitive rate. They're watching this for a competitive rate compared to the other search results. And in addition to that, there's also other things that are happening with this video. People are sharing it. People are subscribing to the YouTube channel. People are giving it a thumbs up. They're commenting on the video. They're going deeper into that particular channel, and they're watching more content on the channel because they're finding value in what that particular video is bringing them. Then that video is going to end up getting more search traffic because it's performing well in search. Okay. Now, how you can find out some of this stuff is if you go into your YouTube analytics, and just to confirm, if you do not know what your YouTube analytics is, just say me, and I can explain to you what it is and just tell you where to find it. But if you go into your YouTube analytics, what you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to make sure that you are going into each individual video, especially if you're trying to show up in search, or really if you're trying to show up, anywhere, because you need to make sure that you're looking at the information correctly, so that you can give yourself the best chances, or so you can know where your fail points are. Let's do it that way. So basically what you do is you go into your YouTube analytics, and you actually click on whatever video it is that you are looking at, that you're wanting to show up in search or on a home page or suggested videos or whatever. And then you go into the advanced mode, and then you go into traffic sources. Now, once you're in traffic sources there, what you're going to see is you're going to see your click-through rate for search. You're going to see your click-through rate for browse. You're going to see your click-through rate. You're going to see your click-through rate for suggested. And you're also going to see your average view duration, your watch time, how many impressions that you're getting for all of those. And that's going to give you tons of insight into why your video is not performing well in search, right? So it's also going to give you tons of insight into why your videos aren't performing well on home pages or suggested videos as well. So what you want to do is you want to look at that information, and you want to be like, wow, you know what? No wonder this is doing okay in search, because my metrics are much higher. But if I look at this and I see like, hey, everything's really low in browse and suggested, then in that case, like, no wonder I'm not getting a lot of traffic from YouTube, right? So you want to make sure that you're digging into those types of things, so you can just start looking for your fail points, so you know what it is that you need to fix in order to show up, to keep showing up in the right places. But keep in mind, all those things they are a reflection of how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to take that information. The things that you can change are your thumbnail, your title, right? To possibly get them to click more. But if you find out that, man, when it doesn't matter what surface people are coming in from, in terms of, home or suggested or search, doesn't matter where people are finding my videos. Like, if they're not watching for that long, then in that case, YouTube is going to not show your content, and in its place, they're going to show content that people are watching for a longer period of time, content that people are engaging in, and things like that. So if you're doing all of the stuff from the outside in terms of your metadata, your title, descriptions, tags, all that stuff, and you're still not showing up in search, then that means that your problem is, one, either your ability to get people to click on it in search because maybe it's not being compelling, or maybe you're just going for something that's really competitive when it comes to the search term. So because of that, like, your content has to be that much better, right? But basically what you just need to make sure that you're doing is you need to make sure that you're paying attention not only to the metadata that you're applying to your videos, but you also need to make sure that you're paying attention to how your videos are performing in the specific places that you're trying to get your videos to show up. Okay. So hopefully that answered your question. So next up on our list here, we've got, let's hear this virtual gaming. We've got Blaine Locklear. Says, hey, Nick, are there several times where subscriber velocity goes up and down? Are we in one right now? Mine went up early, but down since May. So basically what happens is it's all based on how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. So, sometimes you'll put out videos and they'll be people love them. And for whatever reason, based on the type of content that you have, some people will get tons of value out of one video, but then where you think maybe they would get a lot of value out of another one, in some cases they don't, or they just don't, they're not compelled to subscribe from another piece of content. But when you're putting out content, some videos will generate more subscribers than other videos, just based on, for the value that people are getting, or the thing that makes them want to subscribe when they're watching, or maybe a call to action that you used, or a little graphic that you used, or something like that. In addition to that, you also have to, I just completely lost my train of thought. I completely lost my train of thought there. I'm going to read this question again. Oh, okay. Seasonality of subscribers. Okay. So the other thing was, if you have a video that, let's say, is getting a lot of suggested traffic or showing up on a lot of home pages or something like that, and that particular video is driving a lot of subscribers, or let's say you have 5 or 10 videos that are driving a lot of subscribers through those places, and then let's say that you end up getting beaten, so to speak, in in recommendations by other content, or let's say, more people are making videos like you or something like that, and because of that, you're losing some of that suggested traffic, then you'll notice that the videos that were bringing in a lot of those subscribers, in some cases, those will go down because other places are in those in those suggested videos, or just showing up on home pages because they're performing better. So it's not necessarily that it's like an up and down time with YouTube. I mean, that's kind of a thing too, but it's more based around how people are responding to your content and where that content, like the day-to-day performance of each thing that of each video that you publish. So, for example, if you have old content that's still bringing in a lot of subscribers, then you'll see some sort of consistency. If you're putting out content and like you have one video where people are like, yeah, this is great, they're subscribing to it a lot, and then you have another one to where you take a loss on it. Like as an example, my most recent video, my how to make videos without showing your face, I actually went in the hole on that video and I'm still climbing out of the hole. So for whatever reason, when, people came into that particular video, just didn't resonate with them and they, unsubscribed from that a lot. And I think I'm still negative like 11 subscribers on that video. So, because of that, you also have videos that you can publish sometimes to where it will cause people to unsubscribe as well. So then you start getting that, offset from those sorts of things as well. So, so just keep those sorts of things in mind. Dr. Stan, what's up, man? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Let's see here. Architectural Sheet Metal, what is up? Hope that you are doing great. Hope you're doing fantastic. Magic Flying Potato, what is up? Hope that you are doing awesome. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it in the chat right now. Make sure you put a Q in front of it. And then in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of let those stack up here. And in the meantime, I'm going to pull another one here out of the comments. Or out of the form. So this one is David's Dose of Italy. And let's see, they've been making videos for 1 year or more. And the type of channel is Italy-related content, travel, language, and cultural discussions. The goal of the channel is to grow an audience, learn from mistakes, never give up, and go full-time eventually. The question, hey, Nick, what is the best way to find and understand who your audience is? More specifically, is there another way besides looking in the audience section or analytics? I have 2,000 subs, 67 videos, and I'm still not 100% sure who I'm serving. Would this be resolved by niching down a bit? I feel this is critical when knowing what kind of content to make and also who to sell products and services to. Absolutely. So when it comes to figuring out who your audience is, the very first thing you got to do is kind of research a little bit and think it through is the very first thing. So in your case, if you're doing travel, language, and cultural discussions, and of course, travelers would be, part of the thing that you're part of the people that you're trying to reach. So that would be one identifier of, who your audience might be. So if you're doing Italy related content, then people that are specifically traveling to Italy would also be another element of who it is that you are trying to reach with your content. If it's language, then of course, if you're teaching people how to speak the language, then in that particular case, you would be, the people that are interested in learning Italian. And really, if they're traveling, they are trying to, learn the language in Italy. They're trying to learn Italian and they're also trying to learn about Italian culture. Like ultimately, you're trying to reach people that are interested in Italy just overall. Of course, people that are traveling there, people that possibly maybe even want to move there. But what you need to think about is you need to think about with all the content on my channel, who is it that would actually like really enjoy this content? So, of course, YouTube gives us things like, demographics and all of that, but you also want to go, like a little bit further and you want to start, you can go broad if you want to, but if you can nail it down, that just makes all the decisions that you're going to make in the future easier. So what you want to think of is you want to think about, okay, if they're travelers, then what kind of age range for those travelers? YouTube's going to help you with that. And if they are travelers, what kind of travelers are they? And you can start to uncover this, one, just based on what it is that you are wanting to create to actually connect with that audience. But two, if you have content on your channel already, then if that's like, if you want to use this information to help you with the direction that you're going to go in, then other things that you can do is you can start breaking it down by, okay, with this content that I'm making, am I going for like budget travelers or am I going for luxury travelers or am I going for travelers that are, somewhere in the middle? I'm guessing if they're coming to Italy, they're investing in learning the language and things like that. You're going for like a higher tier of traveler. Backpackers will do that sort of thing as well. But, when it comes to, getting language courses and things like that, a lot of people, not everybody, of course, but a lot of people, and I know this just by, where I live, there's a lot of backpackers that come through here. But, people that are backpacking around, they're usually, trying to be budget minded about it and things like that. Even though they might be into the language, they might, invest into learning about the language. you might find that I don't want to say a higher tier of traveler because that's not what I mean, but those are the only words that are coming out of my mouth right now, or that are coming into my brain right now. But basically what you want to do is you just want to start defining those things yourself as well. So you can do it from the approach of, this is the content I have on the channel. What is it people are responding to? Is that the direction that I want to go in? Or you can take the proactive approach, which is, okay, and I'm saying this because you mentioned to go full-time eventually, and you mentioned wanting to know who to sell products and services to. So what you would want to do is you would want to say, okay, these are the products and services that I want to sell, right? You do it in reverse. These are the products and services that I want to sell. Who would be a great candidate for these products and services? And based on those candidates of the people that would buy those products and services, I'm going to make content that will reach those people, right? So then that way, what you're doing is, instead of crafting the things that you're going to create for your audience around, the content that you already have, or the way that your videos perform, you would be more strategic about it or proactive about it, because you would say, okay, well, these are the things that I have to sell. So what do I got to make sure that the intention that the people that have when they're interacting with this content is the right type of intention that will lead them into my language courses, for example, or my guides on, the right places to go in Italy in this specific town, those sorts of things. So I would recommend that you actually do it from reverse. And if you do it in reverse, then what you're doing there is you're like, okay, this right here is, what I'm trying to sell. Now, who do I think would be, the right type of person to buy this? And then you also want to start thinking of things like, am I going after, solo travelers? Am I going after family travelers? Am I going after couple travelers? And you basically want to take all of the variations of what it is that you're doing, and you just want to start thinking like, okay, out of the, out of the things that I want to make to sell, who would be, the best, who would be the best fit for those things, and just start breaking it down that way. So hopefully that made sense. Let's see here. As we keep on going through the list here, let's see. Zoe Chang says, hey, Nick, I know you prefer bullet points, but can a word-for-word script ever be beneficial? I teach Spanish, but want to sound as natural as possible. Great question. Who here uses bullet points, and who here uses scripts? If you use bullet points, just write bullet points. If you use scripts, just write scripts. Just curious, just to get a feel for you guys. But when it comes to, can a script be beneficial word for word? Absolutely, it can. The way that a script can be beneficial is, one, it can keep you on track. It can keep you on track, make sure that you're saying the things that you need to say, make sure that you're saying the things correctly that you need to say. And, it kind of gives you like a general idea, over time, you're going to start to identify like, okay, when my script is about X amount of words, then that also means my videos are about X amount of time. And then you can also start, uncovering those sorts of things as well. But in terms of word for word script being beneficial, absolutely. Movies are made that way. Of course, they do some, stuff to where, it might be ad lib, but, movies are made, with scripts. TV shows are made with scripts. When you watch the news, that's scripted. So, scripts, there's definitely benefit to using scripts. It's just my personal preference is bullet points. Now, with my other channel, my All Our Questions channel that I had, with that one, I used word for word scripts. And the reason that I used word for word scripts with that channel is because I was talking about stuff that I didn't know about. And since I didn't know about that stuff, what I would have to do is I have to research all the information for each individual video, condense the information that I learned down into bite-sized information that would be suitable for a video, but then also condense it down to where like I would understand it enough to be able to explain it enough to where I could write a good script for it. And then, I would say it, word for word from the script. When I first started this channel that you're watching right now, same exact thing. Those videos were also scripted word for word. I found from my experience, which is why I recommend that people try it. From my experience, I noticed that when I started communicating as, me, instead of, looking at a script and then looking back at the camera, looking at a script, looking back at the camera, or reading off of a teleprompter, I was just a lot more rigid when I was doing that. I'm in my brain, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm saying this, but I wasn't really, connecting, or I wasn't really communicating in the way that I communicate. I was communicating in the way that I thought that I should communicate. Now, that doesn't work for everything. For example, if you're doing, scientific content to where you need, to be extremely accurate with what it is that you're talking about, then yeah, you should probably use a script, unless you really know your stuff inside and out. If you are, doing any type of health content, like Dr. Sten said that he uses scripts. If you're doing any type of like health related content where you need to make sure, like if you say the wrong thing, it can, have an adverse effect on somebody, like their health or whatever, then in that case, you want to make sure that you're even if you're using bullet points, you want to make sure that you kind of script out some of that information just to make sure that you're, saying things accurately so that you are, giving people the right, information. But absolutely, tons of advantages for using scripts. But I personally find for me that the communicating through bullet points, it's just more, it helps me be more authentic, which is why I recommend that people experiment with it and just see if it's right for you. Because, like we saw before, when I asked, if you do bullet points or scripts, we have people saying both. We have people saying varies. We have people saying script. We have people saying scripts for the voiceovers. We have people saying, they just kind of wing it here from Pitman Gaming. We have both of them. We have the nice Stormtrooper helmet. Thank you for that, Carissa. But, we have, like a lot of different, things in here. So because of that, the thing I want to highlight is different things work for different people. So, I really recommend that if you're currently scripting, that if the type of content that you make, supports it or you would feel comfortable, that you just give it a shot. And if you experiment with bullet points, it doesn't mean you have to publish that video. It just means that, you can experiment with like, hey, let me just kind of, see if I can put together a video off of bullet points and just see how it turns out. And then if you decide that it doesn't work out, then, go with scripts. And the same exact thing applies in the other direction. If you're just winging it and you're just running off, if you're just winging it, and freestyling, or if you're just running off of bullet points, same exact thing applies in the other direction. Try scripting. You might find it easier. You might find that your videos come together, in a much cleaner way. You might find that it might take you lesser time to actually create or record the video because scripting takes time, but you might find that it, saves you time in the actual recording process. It might give you less clips to work with, that kind of stuff. So if you're doing bullet points, experiment. And over time, you're going to figure out which one works best for you. And then that will be the one that you lean on. So like what I do is I'll do bullet points, but then if I have something specific, like if I know, hey, I'm going to be showing these screenshots or, I'm going to be sharing, specific numbers about something, then in that case, I make sure that I make the note there, what those numbers are and things like that. So I can make sure that what I'm saying when I'm, when I'm talking to the camera, I can make sure that it's accurate. Yeah, really good question. Let's see here. So as we keep on going through the list, says, I'm curious on what your opinion, what's your opinion on why the Faceless video got a bad response? I thought it was good, and I also love the thumbnail. Thank you. So my opinion on why I think that it got a bad response, I don't think that it got a bad response in terms of performance. Like, it's doing okay. But in terms of, how people responded negatively to it in subscribers, I have no idea. So my guess is that maybe some of the people that maybe subscribed and watched, like a video or something and they subscribed, maybe they don't make faceless content. And because of that, they saw that and for whatever reason caused them to unsubscribe. Another problem that I have on my YouTube channel is that like everybody wants to be a YouTube content creator, but a lot of people will quit after a certain amount of time because either they just get busy, with the, other parts of their life, or they find out that there is a lot of hard work that goes into YouTube. So then they just kind of, fold up and that's it. So, it can also be things like that, because the other video that I have on my YouTube channel about how to make videos without showing your face, that new one could have and was likely shown to some of the people that have interacted with that video recently as well, or some of the people that interacted with that video a while back. So because of that, those people might not even be YouTubers anymore. And, that could have caused that unsubscribe as well. But in terms of like, a definitive, like, I know this is why, no idea. With a lot of this stuff, you basically have to, make theories about why you think it is and then experiment, from there to kind of prove or disprove those theories. But in a situation like this one, I have no idea, outside of the things that I mentioned, why people would have unsubscribed en masse to that particular one. It could also be, because some people are weird about sponsor stuff too. That was a sponsored video. So some people, might be weird, about that also. Because some people, even though they're YouTube content creators, like some, YouTube content creators, because they're just not far enough in the journey yet. So then when they see a piece of sponsored content, they're like, oh, I didn't want to watch an ad or, like whatever. And then they'll unsubscribe for like that kind of stuff. So, tons of different reasons that people could have unsubscribed for that one. Let's see here. What risks come with doing reaction videos? So reaction videos can actually be very beneficial if you do them, if you take the right approach to them. But in terms of the risk, you are putting yourself in a situation to where if you are reacting to things like movies or any type of like popular stuff, and even some stuff that's not popular, depending on, how aggressive, a particular person might be, if you're reacting to their video or their clip, one of the things that you can run into is having to add the process of disputing copyright claims or copyright strikes, having to add that as part of your workflow, just because, if you're doing it and you believe that it's in fair use, then in that case, if you do get a copyright claim or a copyright strike from a movie house or something like that, then in that case, you're going to have to dispute that. And when you do dispute that, you also have to make sure that you really do believe that it was fair use when you are submitting that that counterclaim. And I just lost my wow, my entire thing just went down. Hold on, that one just popped up. My entire monitor just went down. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're back. Woo, that was weird. Okay. So give me 1 second here. I need to get this video back on the...
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right, give me just a second here, because I had my my graphic from over there ended up disappearing in that process. That was a weird one. I don't think I've ever had that one happen before. But yeah, when it comes to reaction videos though, I think it was VLC that crashed. Possibly. Maybe. Interesting. Okay, so we'll just put it over there on Windows and see how, let's see how this one works out on full screen. Let's see if it even loops or not. Let's see, full screen. And I think I have it set to loop, but we are going to find out. Let's turn the volume down on that just to be on the safe side. Let's see if I can loop it here. 8. Boom. Yep, so that'll work for now. Okay. So let's see here. So yeah, so when it comes to reaction videos, it's just adding that sort of thing to what it is that you're doing, because if you're doing popular things like popular YouTube videos, popular movies, things like that, you can definitely run into issues, because a lot of those are in the content ID system, and because of that, you're going to end up in that copyright center inside of their YouTube channels, or just in the content ID. And because of that, they'll see it, and then, they might just, blanket strike or blanket claim those videos. And then that puts you on the other side of being able to defend that you are using it in fair use. Now, another thing that I recommend is, if you are going to do reaction videos, it's very important that you get very familiar with fair use and what it means as it applies to your content. And the reason that's important is because, that is going to become, a thing. And since that is going to become a thing, it's really important just to make sure that you're doing things the right way so that you can actually defend what it is that you're putting up. T-Mad TV.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Next time, or actually just go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to the members only Facebook group. Make sure that you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member. I think you're a member before, so welcome back. If not, then, then it'll be nice to see you over there. Let's see here. So Burn 'em Up Squad says, I've thought about quitting because of no growth. Have you ever felt like that? This is a good one. So when it comes to YouTube growth and just getting discouraged, how many people here have or are currently felt or feel like, like I'm not growing, and I'm having trouble figuring out or identifying like why I'm even doing this? Like I'm having trouble, like pushing myself through, and I'm having trouble, just kind of keeping everything going and staying focused on, focused on what it is that I'm doing on YouTube. How many people here are feeling that or have felt that in the past? Okay, so we got some people coming in. So basically, one thing that I want to let everybody know here is that when it comes to YouTube and growth, when you start attaching what it is that you're doing to the numbers that you're getting from your YouTube channel, then you're going to run into this from time to time. And it doesn't matter if you're just getting started. It doesn't matter if you have a successful channel already, because what happens is, when you're putting out content on a regular basis, sometimes you just make bad decisions, and, numbers will go down, or sometimes things will come up in your life. It'll impact your consistency, and because of that, numbers will go down, that kind of stuff. But of course, once you're established, it's a little bit easier to kind of get rolling again. But, when you're first getting started and you're having trouble getting the ball rolling, it can seem like, why am I wasting my time, doing this? And when you feel that way, one thing that to make sure that you're keeping in mind is that, one, all YouTube channels grow at different paces, right? Like some channels will grow faster just because they're talking about things that are, more of a broad audience, or they just, they're just really good at making content, just by default, right? Like they just understand it, just innately they understand it. Like, hey, if I just give me a camera and I'll figure out lighting, I'll figure out audio, I'll figure out how to get how to make my scene look cool. I'll figure out how to, present to the camera. I'll figure out how to do all this stuff. And then, they'll make content and they'll just be able to, put it together because they've been watching YouTube since they were, 6, right? So like you'll have, situations like that. And then you'll have other times where you'll have somebody else come on that's been watching YouTube since they were 6, to where maybe they just haven't seen things in the same exact way. And because of it, they don't have that understanding when they're first starting, or they think they do. And when they are first getting started, they're applying what it is that they think they know, but it's just not working out. So then they start getting discouraged and things like that. So what I want you to think about, hey, what's up, Power Director University? What's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. So let's see. Our music channel completed a submission to me, critique their video during a live stream. I received a copyright claim of the music they owned in the video. Yep. Yeah. Music. So risky. But sorry to hear that you had an issue with that. But basically, like when you are pinning your what it is that you're doing on YouTube to the specific numbers, you can end up really running into walls there, because usually the reason that your YouTube channel isn't growing, it's not necessarily because you're not doing everything that you can. It can also be because there's things that you might be doing that you just can't see at the point that you're currently at. And to put this into perspective, like if I were to, and since Roger's in here and I know Paul Peck Drywall's in here, like if I were to walk into a construction site and I were to look at a house and I started looking at their drywall and I started looking at, their plumbing, like I wouldn't even know what I was looking at, right? Like I would be like, okay, well that's plumbing, right? So I know that if I, take a wrench and I open this up, water's probably going to come out of it, but I don't know the science behind plumbing. I don't know the different, parts of plumbing and things like that. I can look at it and say it's plumbing, but I don't know the details of plumbing, even though that I can look at it. I can see that it's plumbing. I could even work on it. Maybe I could even fix like a sink. Like I don't understand plumbing, right? Same exact thing goes with drywall. Sure, I could, put drywall up. I could, hammer it in, but am I going to get a smooth finish? Is it going to look, nice? Am I going to have the right tools for it? Like, am I going to really screw it up? Right? Because like somebody like, like Roger with the plumbing or Paul Peck, like when they are in there, like they're one with their trade, right? Like they know the ins and outs of, plumbing, or like in Paul's situation, he knows the ins and outs of drywall. So because of that, they would be able to walk in and they would see whatever it was that I was doing with plumbing and drywall. And they would be like, oh, no, stop. You need to change this. You need to change this, based on the height of these pipes and how the water's going to flow. Like I like this part I'm just saying, because I don't actually know how it works, but it's like, based on the height of where this water's coming in, it's going to mess everything up in the system, whatever. They would be able to see that like right out of the gate. Paul would be able to come in and say like, hey, you didn't use tape on the seams, or you didn't smooth this out, or you didn't put this primer, or like whatever it is on the drywall before you finished it up. And what's going to happen there is he's going to be able to tell me like really quick, like, hey, you need to do this, and this. And, I'll be able to, like just kind of show you how to do the drywall in the right way. And he could show me until I understand it. Right. So when it comes to YouTube, the thing is when you are publishing content, if you don't have experience with doing this stuff and you haven't been doing it for a long time, like the view that you're seeing your YouTube channel from and what it is that you're doing could be limited. In terms of like, you think that you're doing all the right things, but you're just not looking in the right places yet. Or maybe you are doing all the right things just based on what it is that you know right now. Just like if I were to try to hang drywall, I would know I need drywall. I need to put it on the wall. I need to hammer it in somehow. And I got to try to figure out how I can cover up the places where I've hammered and the places where I missed the nail. But like, I got to, try to figure that stuff out. Same exact thing goes to YouTube. So the reason that I'm going down this route is because just like a trade, right? Just like if it was, drywall, or just like if it was plumbing, just like if you were to play a musical instrument, when you first get started, you don't understand it all. Like you don't see all of the different things that you could be doing incorrectly. You might not understand like really deeply. You might not understand like content strategy yet. You might not even understand yet how to make your audio sound good. You might, but I'm just saying, you might not as well. And you also might think that your audio sounds good, but an experienced person might listen to your video and be like, oh yeah, they really need to work on their audio, right? So when you're feeling discouraged about your YouTube channel, here's what I recommend that you do. Viper in the house. What's up, my man? Hope that you're doing awesome. See you in LA.
Superchat.
Hope you're doing awesome, my man. Viper, man about tech. So when it comes to your YouTube channel, like one thing that is really important to think about and one thing to focus on is instead of focusing on the numbers, right? Instead of focusing on like how you're growing right now, what I recommend that you do is focus on one, your education. YouTube has something called the YouTube Creator Academy. It's free, provided by YouTube. You can go through it at any time. And that's going to teach you a lot of best practices. There's also tons of videos on YouTube that will teach you about, how to use your camera, how to light your videos, how to get your audio sounding better, how to process your audio, how to edit your videos, all that stuff. But what I encourage you to do is, instead of focusing, like when you're first getting started, instead of focusing on like, oh my gosh, I don't have the subscribers and the views that I thought I should have by this point, look at it from another perspective. And that perspective is, okay, so I'm not where I'm at right now, but I know in order to get there, I need to make sure that I am fully understanding the platform and what it is that I'm doing. I also need to make sure that I understand exactly how to put this content together and how to read my analytics and all of that stuff. So instead of focusing on the actual, like, hey, this is how many, subscribers I have, when you're first getting started, focus on how can I make my videos look better? How can I make it sound better? How can I format my videos in a better way in terms of the actual structure of the video, the experience that you're taking people through? How can I write better titles? Right? Like, go on YouTube and study the way that people write titles. How can I make better thumbnails? Like, focus on building the skill sets, because if you focus on building the skill sets and then you mix that with making sure that you're really focused hard on value first when it comes to your community, making sure that you're focused on value first, make sure that you are focused on building your skill sets, the subscribers are going to come, the views are going to come. Because, as you start developing those skill sets on making better thumbnails, making better titles, structuring your videos in the right way so that you're taking people through, an experience that's non-interruptive, then what's going to happen is you're going to start noticing, as you start working on those skill sets, like, hey, I'm getting better at this, and people are starting to respond better to what it is that I'm doing as well. So if you focus on the skill sets and you focus on the education in terms of learning about, YouTube and strategy and how YouTube works, and, just the basics at the very least, if you focus on those things and you focus on building the skill sets, all the other stuff's going to come, right? All the other stuff comes. And if you're feeling discouraged and you're wanting to quit because of no growth, just change what it is that you're focusing on. Because if you're not growing, the reason that you're not growing is because either one, you're having trouble getting your content in front of people in the first place. And the thing that causes that to happen is you're not writing titles correctly. The topics that you're making your videos about aren't right in terms of, you're proving that people are interested in that topic before you publish the video. Like your thumbnails, could be, preventing people from clicking on your content, that kind of stuff. In addition to that, you also want to make sure that you are focusing on your audience retention so that you can make sure that you're actually pulling people through your videos. Because if you're not growing, that means that there's a discovery problem in terms of, you're not getting your videos in front of people, like I was saying before. And, you could be writing titles, and I'm not saying you're doing this, Burn 'em Up Squad, but, for others in the chat, or maybe people listening or watching this on the replay, it could be that you're just writing titles like, I can't believe this happened, right? Like, that's a title. And if you write a title like that, but there isn't any real context into who that video might be for, you haven't, done anything else to optimize that video. You're not using your descriptions, and in the title itself, it's just like, I can't believe this happened. Like, the likelihood of YouTube showing that to your ideal audience is going to be extremely low. Like, a lot of new content creators will do things like that because they see bigger channels doing it. But the bigger channels, YouTube already knows, who the right fit is for what's happening with those channels. But when you're first getting started, YouTube has to collect that information based on how people respond to your content. And the very first step in that process is you learning how to get people to click on your content so that they can start experiencing your content, so that YouTube can start uncovering who the right people are on the platform that are a good fit for what it is that you're doing. Okay. So in terms of, quitting because of no growth, I haven't felt that. But I have been on the other side to where, I've been going so hard on YouTube to where, I've burned out and things like that. I actually left another channel because, I burned out and all of that. So, I've definitely experienced, some negative mental stuff when it comes to YouTube and being a content creator and all of that. But in terms of, quitting because of no growth, that's definitely, you know, that particular thing hasn't been a thing. But here's just some things. I'm just kind of assess everything that I just talked about. I'm just going to give you some really quick pointers on some things to make sure that you keep in mind. One is focus on developing your skill sets, because your skill sets are going to ultimately pave the road to the success that you're after on YouTube. Two, make sure that you also attach a goal to what it is that you're doing on YouTube that is not based on views and subscribers. That goal can be, you know, like, hey, I want my content to, you know, look and sound a certain way. I want it to feel a certain way. I want to get people to, you know, a certain part in my audience retention. That's still numbers based, but it's not based on views and subscribers, right? But focus on, you know, those types of things, and focus on, you know, a goal. Like think to yourself, like, okay, what is it that I'm really doing YouTube for? And like, what's something that I could use YouTube to help me accomplish? And if you can get that goal in place, then when you have that goal, then you start creating that why. You start creating that reason that you want to learn how to make better thumbnails, that you want to learn how to make better titles, that you want to learn how to edit your videos better, that you want to spend that extra hour on your video fine tuning your edit, cutting out, you know, an extra 10 seconds over the course of a 10-minute video, just going through and trimming it down, spending that extra hour just because you want to make it that much better, right? Because you have that goal, you're after it, so you're going to spend that extra time doing what it is that you're doing for the sake of trying to attain that particular goal. But what I recommend that you do is don't pay attention to the numbers, but don't make those the primary thing that you're focusing on when you're getting started. When you're getting started, focus on the skills, because you need to know a lot of stuff. You got to know how to do a lot of stuff when it comes to YouTube. Of course, you can just make a video with your phone. Like, you can make a video right now with your phone. It could be a short, it could be, you know, a video. You can make it in one take. You could do something funny. You could, you know, be walking, talking, and trip and fall down, and your phone flies across the room. You could upload that to YouTube and it might go viral, right? But the problem is you're going to have to repeat that. If you want to be successful long-term, you're going to have to be able to repeat that over and over and over again, which means you're going to have to fall a lot. So because of that, you know, when you build up your skill sets, then you're basically prepping yourself to be able to maintain what it is that you're doing long-term. Okay. So those are the things that I would focus on when you are in that situation where you're like, man, I'm just not, you know, like I'm just not feeling this because I'm not growing. Like, you're not growing because you're not growing in terms of the skill sets that you're adding to yourself every day, as it pertains to YouTube, right? Outside of YouTube, sure, but as it pertains to YouTube, or you're just not far enough along yet. So just a heads up, like, in terms of growth, like for me, it took me 5 months to get my first 150 subscribers on YouTube. Right. So, you know, some people, it'll take them a year before they start getting any momentum whatsoever. One of the things that my friend Roberto Blake always says is make 100 crappy videos. Focus on making 100 crappy videos. And you don't just make videos and throw them up willy-nilly. You make the videos and you put them up and you learn from those videos. And the reason that he recommends that is because over the course of learning how to make 100 videos, like, you're gonna learn, you know, your thumbnails. You're gonna learn, you know, you're gonna write a bunch of 100 titles. You're gonna make 100 videos. That means you're gonna edit 100 videos. And the things that you're gonna learn over that time, as long as you're paying attention and trying to improve, it's gonna be massive. So, you know, because of that, you know, base your goals around those sorts of things, and then you'll be able to see it through long term. Let's see here as we keep on going through the list, scrolling down the page here. And let's see here. I'm going to go up because I know there's some super chats coming through. I'm going to address those, and then we'll get back into the questions here. Power Director University, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Says, I'm just showing some love for all you do. Keep killing it. Thank you for that, my man. I appreciate it. Fly Ride in the house. What is up? Fly Ride saying, Roger, happy 350K. That's what I'm talking about right there. Super sticker right here. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Can't understand the, I'm not sure what the name is, but, you know, I just want you to know that it is appreciated, and I appreciate you hanging out in the stream here today. Let's see here as we keep, Roberto Blake's in the house. He says, life has made me want to quit before. Not liking the culture I see among young creators has made me want to quit, but that's just headspace. Focus on why you should continue and for who. Yep. Let's see here as we keep on going down our list here. Okay. So let's see here. As we keep on going, we've got Natalia Crispin says, problem, my channel's under an admin account that I no longer have access to. How can I get that account back with Google? So if you don't have access to it, then yeah, you definitely would need an email account so that you can go through there. If you have any phone number attached to it, you can also go through that. What I recommend is if you are in that situation is that YouTube has community forums. So I would go and I would post that in the community forums, and then hopefully somebody will reach out to you from YouTube there and giving you like a step-by-step on things that you can do. But if you've lost everything for that account, you're probably not going to get back into it. But I would confirm that. Like I would tweet at Team YouTube and see if they give you any canned response on a place to go to start that process. And I would also make a post in the YouTube community forums as well. If you just go to Google, you type YouTube community forums, it'll pop up, and then just go in there and make that post in there. Let's see here. As we keep on going through this list, we've got, let's see. Let me refresh this page.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. So next up, we've got Nate the Lawyer. Nate the Lawyer says, Nick, thank you so much. 2 years in, 85,000 subscribers. My last video, 2.2 million views. This works, people. I followed all the advice. High five and fist bump to you, Nate. Crushing it. Absolutely love to see that. Let's see here. Sino says, I make over 200,000 views every month. Is that good enough to go full time? I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is that you're doing with those 200,000 views. So if it's good enough to go full time, you would know that because you would see, how much income that you're generating from that. And in order to go full time, then of course you would know that, like you need to make, X amount in order to go full time. Plus you need to make more than that because if you're going to go full time on YouTube, you also become self-employed, which means that you also have, different taxes and things that you're going to have to, deal with. In terms of if it's enough to go full time or not, in some cases it can be. If you, have monetization in place that, you're doing, like affiliate income, you're doing some crowdfunding, you have high CPMs on your videos, that sort of thing, then, in that case it can be. But if you don't have those things and you're just hitting 200,000 views a month and you're not monetized yet in any way, then absolutely not. So, just keep those things in mind. So when it comes to, being full-time on YouTube, other things that you got to also take into account as well is that, like we mentioned here just a little bit earlier, based on somebody else's comment is, in some cases, in all cases, views, will go up and down. Like you'll have your your highs, and then you'll have, your lows that are, like the lowest that you usually get. And then you'll have all the stuff in the middle, and, that your income can fluctuate because of that. So the more that you diversify with a bunch of different ways that you're generating income from your channel, the better off that you're going to be, because that creates a more solid foundation. However, if you are going to go full time, I also recommend that you do, just make sure that you're, putting some money aside, that you're saving some money so that, when things are on the downswing, that you can make sure that, that you can see all of that through and that you don't end up, in the basement in the dark, so to speak, in that scenario. The Beggin' Mooncat superchat says, my channel this week went from 950 subs to 1,200. How long will it take for my community tab to arrive? And are there any more changes due being over 1,000? Still not at 4,000 hours watch yet. 10 months on YouTube. Cool. So you should have your community feed within like a week. Some people it'll take like 3 days. Other people it'll take, a little bit longer, but like a week, maybe week and a half. But it'll come, just be patient. But in terms of, additional features with the 1,000 subscribers, yeah, you get the community feed. Let's see here. What else off the top of my head? Yeah, off the top of my head, it's the community feed. I think you get stories. Yeah. So community feed. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel. And the thumbnail for that video says something like unlock all of YouTube's features. Go look for that video, and it will tell you specifically all the different things for all the different milestones here on YouTube that you get access to. As we keep on going through the list here, we've got, I just want to make sure I got everybody here. Honey Days. Hazy Days. Superchat. Hazy Days says, I do horror game Let's Plays. How can I stand out better when the market is so saturated with big YouTubers like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, etc.? Do you? So when it comes to standing out against content creators that are huge, the very first thing to understand is that not everyone loves those big content creators. So me, I actually don't watch PewDiePie. I don't watch Jacksepticeye. I'll watch them, every now and then just to kind of see, like how they put their videos together, that kind of stuff. But like, I don't, I'm not I'm not like a fan, so to speak. So, so for me, like I prefer, other, like I prefer people that, that it doesn't matter what their channel size is. I just prefer, those are just not like the way they do their stuff. It's just not my thing. So because of that, looking at them as your competition is something that you shouldn't do anyway, because they're not really your competition. When it comes to your competition is actually people that are, much smaller in size on their YouTube channels, than PewDiePie. So because of that, when it comes to standing out, the best thing that you can do is to do you and not try to do what they do. When you try to do what they do, what you're doing is you're just making yourself another version of them. When you try to do you and you take your approach to how you're putting your content together and how you're interacting with your audience and all that, then you do it in your way, and the people that resonate with you and your way are going to, they're going to be people that are going to be watching your stuff. When it comes to the people that, are resonating with PewDiePie and his way and the way that he does things, then they're going to watch all of his videos. So, because of that, just because there's other channels doing what it is that you're doing doesn't mean that that you can't do it. And it also doesn't mean that people are not going to respond to you if you take your own path and kind of carve your own path or make your own road in a already popular niche. So, if you look at the YouTube creators on the rise, they're constantly showing gaming channels on the creators on the rise. And that's because there's a lot of gaming channels out there. A lot of people are starting gaming channels all the time. And since that's happening, that's like the ones that people really respond to because they're doing all the right stuff. Those channels will end up, growing faster. And because of that, they'll end up on the creators on the rise. So, just because you're doing something that's competitive does not mean that you cannot do it. And it also does not mean that, that you're not going to be able to stand out, because you absolutely can. Just do you and focus on doing you. Let's see here. And I know that sounds kind of corny. You know what I mean? It sounds like it, like when it's like, hey, do you be the best version of you that you can be and all that stuff. Like, it sounds corny, I know, but in reality though, like, nobody communicates the way that you do. Nobody thinks the way that you do. Nobody, there's a lot of similarities, just because we're all human beings. But in terms of, like when you make content, your approach is going to be different. And the way that you say things, the way that you express yourself, the things that bring you joy in your game. So like if you're playing a game, if something happens in that game, the way that you react to that, in some cases, somebody might not even react to that thing that you did, but somebody else might react to something that you wouldn't react to. But because you react to the specific things that you react to, that's going to resonate with the people that would also react in a similar way to the things that you're reacting to. So, with whatever type of content that you're making, even if it's something that isn't in a crowded space, because I know a lot of gamers are hanging out in here, even if it's in a crowded space, just focus on being you. The worst thing that you can do is try to be another content creator. If you use them in terms of like, hey, these are the things that they're making videos about. So of course, these are going to become popular. These are popular, and you use that kind of information. You also look at channels that are thriving, not necessarily huge channels, just channels that are thriving. And you start unpacking those and you're like, okay, why do I think this channel's thriving? And you're looking at channels in that perspective. That's fine. But when you ultimately are making your content, like just do your thing and do things the way that you enjoy, do things the way that you think that it should be done. And then use your audience retention reports inside of your analytics to kind of fine tune the way that you're doing things, and you'll do fine. But you just have to make sure that you are, trying to, be unique by being you, because nobody can copy that. Like people are going to copy, like if you start doing well, people are going to copy your video ideas. They're going to copy your thumbnail style. They're going to copy your titles. You're going to make a video on one thing, and they're going to make a video on the same exact thing, like a couple of days later. People are going to copy your set. They're going to copy, all kinds of different stuff. You might even have people that will download your transcripts and literally use that as a script and make the same exact content that you're making. But the one thing that they cannot ever copy, no matter what, is you. In the way that you are actually doing it, right? Because what they would do in that case is they would take all of your stuff and they would try to make an attempt to do it like you do. They might do it better, but they might make an attempt to do it like you do, but their version of it would be different than what your version of it is. So because of that, just lean on yourself as the thing that's going to stand out. That junk man says bad to redo topics that you've done a few years before. No, not at all. Like if you have content that's proven to perform on your channel, absolutely, follow it up with, updated versions, new versions, absolutely. It is totally fine to repeat content. In addition to already having the videos on your channel, you also have to keep in mind, like if you've been on YouTube for a month and you've published 8 videos on your YouTube channel, the people that are watching the video today haven't necessarily watched all 8 videos on your YouTube channel. There's actually a really good chance that the people that have watched 2 of your videos on your YouTube channel, like your last 2 videos, probably haven't watched, like every video on your channel, even if you only have 8 videos on it. So because of that, it is absolutely okay to redo topics. But if possible, don't just like repeat the video, but just try to, come up with a new angle for it or something like that. So as an example, my latest video that I put out was about how to make videos without showing your face. I've made that video. That was like within the first 10 videos that I made on my YouTube channel. I made a video to where, I talked about, similar things, but what I did in the current video is I took a different approach, and I mentioned some of the things that I mentioned in the other video, but I actually showed some of the things that I was talking about, and I actually showed the, what it would look like making, content in a specific way, as a way to, make the new version of it stand out from the old version of it. Let's see here. As I keep on going through the list, let's see here. Roger says, what are great CPM and RPM rates? What is the average CPM and RPM? I'm not sure, Roger, what the actual average is. I know Roberto, because he focuses on content creator monetization, so he might have researched that number. But in terms of like great CPMs, I know like I've seen, let's see here. I've seen an Amazon, not Amazon, reseller. That's what I'm looking for. A reseller channel. They had, I think it was like $50 something for their CPM, which is great. And I think his might have been the highest that I've seen. But it was like $50 or $60 something on his particular content. But that was the highest that I had seen at that point. That was actually at Vid Summit that I was having that conversation there. And I was like, no way. And he pulled up his phone. He showed me like right there. So you might have even met him at Vid Summit. But in terms of like an average, I'm not sure. To my knowledge, I'm not sure if YouTube's actually put that information out. 2 Quacks Clucks Farm, what is up? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Welcome back. Let's see here. Tom Nash in the house. What's up, Tom? Hope that you are doing awesome as well. Okay, so as we keep on going up this list, we got Hawaii Turo says, hey, from Hawaii, aloha. Says, thanks for the help. I just got monetized after 9 months. I got almost 45,000 views and 60 videos. High five and fist bump to you for getting into the YouTube partner program. Making it rain with that YouTube ad money. Good stuff. Good stuff. Love it. Okay, so let's see here as we keep on going through the list. Tom says, I copied Nick for a whole year. Yeah, I'm going to start copying you now. Let's see here. So I'm not at 1,000 subscribers for those hours, but YouTube has placed ads on a few of my videos. Why is that? So YouTube monetizes your content even if you don't. So because of that, if you're not in the partner program, so because of that, you need to strive to get that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time as fast as you possibly can, so that you can make sure that you can control the ads that are being shown, or at the very least, make sure that you're getting a piece of that pie. But they're going to show ads on your videos until you get into that partner program. Do I use a teleprompter? I do not use a teleprompter. So what I do is I'll make bullet points, and then within those bullet points, if it's something that I'm sharing, like something specific, then in that case, I'll make a little note in that bullet point with the specific thing, but it'll just be a bullet point. Like if I have a video on like 5 things that whatever, then it'll be like, this is one thing, that's the second thing, that's the third, that's fourth, that's fifth, and then I'll freestyle from there. And by freestyle, I mean that I'll just, I'll look at the thing at the bullet point, and then I will, and then I'll just, say, like what I think about that particular bullet point. Costume CEO in the house. What's up, Heidi? Hope that you are doing awesome. Stoms, what's up? Like your channel name. Let's see here. So as we keep on going through this list, I'm gonna jump back into the form because I haven't been in the form here in a little bit. I want to make sure that the people that have put their question in the form gets that taken care of as well. So let's see here. On this one, we've got David's Dose of Italy. Oops, we did that one already. So we've got Meme Piano. Says they do content on an iPad and an iPhone. The type of channel is a music channel. The goal of the channel is to have an audience that is very active on my channel. The question says, I've used shorts to grow my channel, but I post a normal video. Not as many people seem to come to it. I don't think my subscribers are very active. What types of videos should I post to get that audience that will watch me? So that's something that you got to figure out over time. So if you are making shorts for your videos, what you got to think of is you got to think of, hey, super dude, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. What you want to think of is you want to think of, okay, if somebody's watching this short and I'm getting a lot of people watching these shorts, but they're not watching my long form content. Why is that? One, the specific things that you're doing in your shorts might not be the same thing that you're doing in your long form content. Therefore, it's just not a good matchup in terms of their interest. Now, if you've put out just random shorts and people have responded well to just a bunch of random stuff, then it's going to be kind of hard to get them to watch your longer form content unless it matches some of that randomness that you've done in the shorts. But what you want to think about, this is why it's so important, because we talked about the audience thing earlier. This is why it's so important to have an idea or to know who it is that you're actually going after with your content, who it is that you're wanting to connect with through your content, because then decisions like this in terms of what should I make in order to resonate with that audience, it becomes crystal clear when you know who it is that you're trying to reach. So what I encourage you to do, Meme Piano, is to think about, okay, what is it I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel? What is it I'm trying to accomplish here? Am I just trying to get like a bunch of numbers, or am I actually trying to, like serve people in some way? Am I trying to make an impact, in some way? Am I trying to, achieve a goal of some kind? Like, what is it that I'm doing? And what videos do I need to make in order to make that happen? Because I'm already doing shorts. Like, I get it with the shorts. People are responding to that. But now I also need to make sure that I'm putting out video content. I mean, technically, you don't have to put out video content. You can just have a shorts channel. But if you do decide to put out video content, you just have to make sure that it's a good fit for those people that you're trying to reach, and make sure that the shorts that you're putting out and the long form content that you're putting out is still being made for the same audience. Let's see here. As we keep on going, A Plus Russian says no actual freestyle. Yeah, I'm not rapping here on the live stream for sure. But if I'm over there and it's like after the stream, then in that case, yeah, I might throw on some headphones, jam out to a good instrumental that I made, and and maybe just do a little fun freestyle over there for sure, just for fun. One thing that I just recently started doing, and I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago, because I just as a quick side note, like I do like instrumentals for fun. Like I like making like hip hop instrumentals and just kind of like meditation instrumentals and just kind of like that kind of stuff. But one thing that I just recently started doing for the hip hop stuff is I started getting acapellas from like, Jay-Z and, like people like that, just getting them on the internet, and then basically helping, like using those to actually kind of help form my instrumentals based on, like when they, have a particular part in their verse, then, then I'll be like, oh, I should put a drop here so that I can, kind of really emphasize what it is that they're saying. And that's just added like a whole fun dynamic to putting the instrumentals together. The Albitastic, the thing that you saw last week was me playing with my VR. So that's different. So over here, back over in that area, I've got like a keyboard back there and like a drum machine. The drum machine's just like this one. So this is a drum machine too, because I have some music stuff on this computer too. But this is also a drum machine as well, a MIDI controller drum machine. But basically I have another version of this. The better one is over in that area as well. And I love playing with that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Vinesh, what is up? Saying you love my content. That is awesome. Glad that you are enjoying the content, Vinesh. Apps That Rule says, I want that monitor Nick has. So it's called a Samsung Galaxy G9 is this monitor. And you can see here by the curve, that the center of gravity with this is kind of weird. So I have an arm coming for it. So I ordered it like 2 months ago and it's still on the way. But I have an arm coming for it. And one of the things that I have to get with that arm, which I've already got, they already delivered it, is a swivel for the top of it, because the center of gravity is so crazy for this thing that when you put it on an arm, it just makes them all fall down like this. So you have to get a very specific arm and clamp for the top of the arm that is strong enough and designed for the sake of holding the monitor. If to be honest, if I would have known that was a thing before I got this monitor, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. Let's see here. So Psycho Nation.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. When you get a chance, go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. When you get there, fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a channel member. And those I'll be adding those of you that have joined as a channel member. I'll be adding those at the end of the stream. Let's see here. So as we keep going through this list, I'm going to hop back into the forum, and then we are going to hop into the chat. So here's the thing. If you have a question, don't drop it in here yet, but if you have a question, just get it ready and just put a Q in front of your question so that I know it's for me and not a side conversation that you're having in the chat. Chad Garber says, give us a cool beat using your drum machine. If I open up the software to do that, then we're going to, it's going to end up taking over the interface. And because of that, it will cause audio problems here. So I definitely won't do that. At least not right now, because I think that would happen, but I've never actually tried it. But I've had it happen in the past where I opened up something else and it overtook my audio. So I just don't want that to happen during the stream. I've actually shared some stuff in like YouTube stories and, things like that of some of the instrumentals. And it's something that I do to kind of play around. It's not something that I like, I don't like master them or, anything like that. I just get back there and I just, do stuff that I enjoy. And then I, take it from there. Let's see here. So, as we keep on going, we've got Chris Tell Facts says that the type of channel is facts and knowledge, and the goal of the channel is for my knowledge and others too. And the question, can you tell me some affiliate marketing sites? I'm 13, so is it okay? So in order to promote things as an affiliate, technically you can do it as a younger person. However, you are going to need to get your parents' permission, but you can use first, I recommend that if you have something specific that you're wanting to promote as an affiliate, that you see if the actual, company has an affiliate program, because a lot of them do. In addition to that, you have Amazon, you have Walmart, you have like ClickBank if you want to do that kind of stuff. Some of that stuff is kind of, but it's there if you want to do that sort of thing. There's also Impact Radius. They also have a marketplace for a bunch of different things that you can promote as an affiliate as well. Through those different options, that should help you uncover just a handful of different things that you might be able to promote. Let's see here as we keep on going. So Abbytastic says, how many feeds do you have coming to your monitor? So on the monitor, basically what I have going on here is I have Twitter right here, so that if anybody shares anything, that I can see that coming through in my mentions. And then within this, I also have Facebook for when I'm going to drop my link here in case any of the homies want to come in. And then I also have Epidemic Sound up here in the top corner as well, so I can go in and make any adjustments to that if I need to. And then here, this is where I have the actual form to where I'm pulling the questions from. And then I have the monetization tab for the YouTube channel behind this one, so that I can click that. And then, if any super chats I missed, that kind of stuff. As you can see, YouTube chat is popped out right here. Over on this side is StreamYard with the chat, so I can pin those to the screen, when I can catch them there to pin them. And then over on this side, one that you don't see, we'll just kind of do this way for the angle there. That one is my is the back end of YouTube, so I can make sure the stream's going out and all of that good stuff.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay, now's the time to drop your question in there. So if you have a question, make sure you put a Q in front of it, drop it in there right now if you have a question. So the first one here on this list is, what is the whole setup cost? It was expensive, but keep in mind, like this is something that I do professionally. So since I do this professionally, anytime I invest in equipment, there's tax advantages to doing that. So because of that, like it's not like, oh hey, let's just go out and buy a bunch of stuff. It's more like that I can give it to the government, or I can reduce my taxable income by upgrading my gear and that kind of stuff. So because of that, like I'm not going to say how much it costs, but I mean it's like there's a decent amount of money put into this stuff. But it's also important to know that it's not, you don't need all this stuff. Like when you're a content creator, like you can do everything on your phone. I just like doing this stuff because I like tinkering with it. I like my stuff to look a certain way. And I also try to do things that also help me stand out as well. And one of the things that I do to do that is just some of the ways that I put, some of my, content together, live streams also being, content as well. So I just want to reinforce the idea, though, that you don't need all this stuff to have a successful YouTube channel. In fact, I have a video on my channel where a guy here in Thailand, he grew his channel to 100,000 subscribers in like 10 months using just a iPhone, not even a microphone, just a microphone, just like this. Just on selfies. So so you don't need all of you don't need all that stuff. I just like it, and I like to tinker with it, so that's why I've got it all. Okay, so let's see here. Let me scroll up and get. We're gonna go through kind of like a lightning round here, and through this lightning round, I'm just gonna go through and I'm just gonna try to answer some of these as fast as I can, just so we can get through as many of these as I possibly can. Okay, best screen recording app for iPhone is the built-in screen recording app for iPhone. So they iPhones come with a screen recording app. Let's see here. Love the monitor though. Okay, how can YouTube algorithm recommend my short meme videos? I tried doing it, but they almost always failed. How can I do that? So YouTube recommendations are based on video performance. The way that you get YouTube to recommend your content more, so it'll show up on home pages, it'll show up recommended next to other videos, is based on performance. What that means is you have to get people to click on your videos at a high rate based on the amount of impressions that you're getting. You have to be able to keep people watching your videos for an amount of time that YouTube will deem your videos as competitive for the platform and for the type of content that you make. You also need to get people to interact more with what it is that you're doing in terms of, subscribing to your channel, giving it a thumbs up, commenting on your videos, that sort of thing. And you got to keep people coming back to your channel as well. But when it comes to, an individual video, the way that you get that video recommended more is by making sure that you're being compelling with your title, that your thumbnail is clear, not cluttered with a bunch of stuff, that you're making sure that you're being intentional about everything it is that you're doing with your content. You're not just put it together, but you're really thinking it through, and you're thinking through things like this. Okay, I just put this thumbnail together. I just put this title together. This is what the topic of the video is. Why does this thumbnail, title, and topic, why is this important to somebody? Why would somebody want to click on this? And really make sure that you're defining it, and also play devil's advocate as well. So, when you're playing the part of, like, hey, why would this be important to the people that I'm trying to reach with this content? Play the other side. Like, why would somebody not click on this as well? And just be intentional about what it is that you're doing. And then, of course, once they do click on it, you also have to take them into the content, and you have to do that in your content as well. So, okay, so I just started my video. Why, when I started this video, would somebody want to keep watching after the first, 10 seconds of my video? After the first 30 seconds, why would somebody want to keep watching? Why would somebody want to keep watching, and so on and so forth? And you want to make sure that you're being very intentional about what it is that you're doing, because video performance in terms of click-through and how people interact with your content is the defining factor on if YouTube ends up recommending your content to other people on the platform or not. Let's see here. So I'm posting shorts and they're not getting views. How can I get them to blow up? Shorts are the same exact thing as everything else on the platform. It's all performance based. So if people are not interacting well with your shorts, it's probably coming down to your title, in terms of either one, them not actually, well, with shorts, because they're just scrolling through. So as they're scrolling through, you're not grabbing their attention when it first starts, or for anything that shows up on the actual short itself before they click into it, the titles there aren't compelling enough to actually get people to come in. So just like every other feature on YouTube, in order to get your content to perform there, it has to be at a certain level of response. And by response, I simply mean that people have to click on it at a certain rate. They have to watch it at a certain rate to where YouTube will deem it as competitive for the platform. or worthy of showing additional people. Would you ever collaborate with your fans if they make good content and they are in alignment with the type of content that I make? Then absolutely. How am I doing today? I'm doing great, actually. I'm like we're currently having an outbreak here, but we did a grocery run. So like I'm just staying inside all the time, or just staying here all the time, not always inside. But we did a grocery run today, and all that went smooth. And then we came home and just been kind of like hanging out here. We played a couple of games, earlier, and just kind of hanging out and doing all that stuff, enjoying the Saturday outside. The weather was great today. Because normally, I'm in Thailand, so, it can get humid here sometimes. And it was great out today. So, I hung out outside here just a little bit. And we also had like rain come in. It didn't rain here, but it rained kind of close to here. So it actually kind of caught some mist. It wasn't like coming down here, but it was coming down like right over here. So, we had some nice, wind coming through and all that stuff. Like it was great. So yeah, like I'm doing awesome. Let's see here. I'm posting shorts and they're not, okay, we did that one already. And Silver Wolf, I hope that you are also doing awesome, by the way. Do dislikes really matter on YouTube, and specifically for small YouTubers with less than 1,000 subscribers? Dislikes are engagement just like likes are. Now, of course, if every person that sees your video dislikes it and they don't watch it for a long time, then that's going to be a really negative signal. But if you have some people dislike your videos, it's not a big deal. It's also considered engagement. How do I analyze my videos? This is fun. I actually like going through them quickly this way. How do I analyze my videos so the right way that I can respond better? I know that some vids get more views than others, but why? I spend time looking at my vids trying to figure it out, but I'm lost. So this is where you lean on your YouTube analytics. So in your YouTube analytics, you can start to understand why videos perform better than other videos. So for example, when you are looking in your YouTube analytics, you can see the click-through rate from all the different places that you're getting traffic from. You can see how long people are watching your videos from each of the different places that YouTube is showing your videos. You can see how many impressions you're getting in all of those places. And you can see all of that information. In addition to that, you can see in your audience retention reports, which is a second-by-second graph of how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. You can see how people are responding to all the decisions that you're making in your videos as well. And you can start to, over time, put together a picture of what a performing piece of content looks like on your YouTube channel. And by that, you can say, okay, well, in terms of a thumbnail that typically does okay, by the time I reach like 100,000 impressions, or depending on, if you're getting tons of views, then it could be more. But like, by the time it reaches 100,000 impressions, or, 1 million impressions, if you're getting a lot of views, then I typically have, this particular, click-through rate and about this much audience retention on a video about this long. That's typically what a performing video looks like on my channel. My complete rate is typically this. So you can start to unpack over time a ballpark of what performing content looks like on your channel. So when you're not hitting those marks, then you can start being like, okay, I'm not hitting this mark, so this is a problem area. Is there anything that I can do about it? Should I update my thumbnail? Should I update my title? That kind of stuff. And really quick, I just want to take a moment here, and I want to say to Clementia, says, no Kool-Aid this weekend, but Nick is here. This is how to get views and subscribers on YouTube. So thank you for sharing this out. I appreciate it. Interesting looking setup here with your arm. This is like one of those like all-in-one stands. I love it. So cool to see the setup there too. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Let's see here. So as we keep on going through these, so a super chat came through, so I'm going to answer that one really quick as well. So this is from LaRon Henderson. Says, I'm a new tech channel. I feel like I run out of content as I don't have access to all the new tech that comes out. Any tips on how to grow as a new tech channel? Of course, if possible, of course, going on trends, that kind of stuff is great. Collaborations is something that I would really look into. If you're into tech, the tech community is awesome when it comes to, working with each other and supporting each other in terms of, just kind of sharing information. There's actually tech groups, like tech YouTuber groups, that, they talk on Discord and stuff like that. So I'd try to find your way in, to that sort of thing, because in addition to that, I know that in some of those, I know like Viper, he was in here earlier. He's in there. I know El Jefe, he's in it. I know Zach Talks Tech, he's in one. John Prosser's in that one. But basically, they'll talk about, tech as it relates to YouTube, and, like their stats and, all those different things as well. So I would definitely try to find your way into something like that. In addition to that, You don't always, like when you're talking about the newest tech, of course, then you have the opportunity to ride on like massive trends. However, like tech is tech. So, if you have stuff that, that you have your own perspective with your own review and that kind of stuff, like if you have stuff that you haven't, done yet on the channel, or you have things that you can make multiple videos about, like just keep making content, on the things that you do have, and people will come in. Like, for example, like there's still new videos going out on the A10 Mini right here. And this has been out for a while, and there's still new videos going out for that. And, like I'll typically click on those. So because of that, YouTube shows them to me all the time. And, sometimes, it'll be a content creator that will see, or that will make a video about this, and there'll be a new content creator, but YouTube will show me, their stuff, just because I've been watching that type of content. So that's one of the awesome things about YouTube is that, if you make content and people are watching that type of content, so let's say, for example, you make it on an iPhone, then, people that are watching videos about iPhones, you are, giving yourself the opportunity to show up for some of those people that are watching videos about iPhones, as long as your videos perform. So, so when it comes to not having access to all the new tech, work with what it is that you have. And then from there, as everything starts picking up momentum and you can kind of reinvest into some of the tech, then, start doing that. But you can also reach out to companies. Another thing with being a YouTube content creator, Laurent, sorry. Another thing that that's awesome about being a content creator, especially in tech, is you can, also, put together a nice media kit, and put together a customized email for each person or each company that you're reaching out to. Let them know you're on the radar. Let them know that, say exactly what you're saying to me. Say, look, I don't have access to all this tech, but I would love to make, I would love to make some content on your stuff. You can send it to me to just make videos about. I'll send it back. Right. And just try to work it out that way to where, like, you don't have to give it to me. Just send it to me. Let me review it. And then I'll send it back to you. Send me as much stuff as you want. And I will, I'll just keep reviewing it and giving you my thoughts on, giving people my thoughts on your stuff. And some companies will, will send you stuff, but you're going to have to add that to your workload in terms of, putting together your emails and just continually putting out, trying to contact companies to have them send you stuff. And I would just try to do every tech company that you can possibly think of for, the specific type of tech that you're doing, in order to possibly get, a lot of stuff that you can use in your videos. Let's see here. Lyle Rose. Hey, hope you're doing great. Let's see here. It takes me hours to edit videos, but I only get 30 to 40 views. So, interesting thing about YouTube is that, even though it takes hours to, edit videos, you only get 30 to 40 views. That's because we are rewarded based on how people respond to what it is that we're doing, not how much time that it takes us to put it together. So if you're putting out something that takes you 30 minutes to put together, but people respond to it at a very high rate, then you're going to do well compared to somebody that spends, hours and hours and hours and hours, days putting their content together. If people don't respond to it, then you can get more views, even though you spent a lot less time. So, it's all based on how people respond to what it is that we're doing, not how much time that we put into it. But with that said, if you put in more time, typically, then you can end up making something that's better, or you can take something that's good and you can make it great by adding some additional time to it. So, definitely keep that in mind. Okay, we did that one already. I'm looking to purchase a microphone, but not sure which one is the best to go live. So here's some options for you. If you want it to be like in frame, like this, you have the Rode Procaster, the Rode. No, is this the Procaster? No, that's a Rodecaster. Okay, so you have the Rode Procaster. I think my GoPro just went down. Hold on. Nope. So you have the Rode Procaster. That is a awesome mic. We've got a few of those in the other studio that we have. When my brother D is here, we do the live streams in another place. But we have Rodecasters over there. This is a SM7B. This right here, the Shure SM7B. Also a really good microphone. But when you get this one, you also have to get a cloud lifter for it. And the cloud lifter, it's called a cloud lifter. And what it does is it gives you 25 decibels of clean gain. So it basically makes the microphone louder. So this particular mic needs that. The Roadcasters don't, but it basically makes it to where there's less work that you have to put on the actual like interface or whatever when you're turning the volume up. So you can turn everything up more, or you can turn it up less on the machine, but you are getting, you know, a higher amount of sound coming through it, if that makes any sense. And let's see here, what else for live stream. So another option, of course, is if you use a shotgun microphone to where it would be just out of frame. So for example, you would get it to where, you know, the microphone itself, and I'll go to the overhead shot for this too, but it would be out of frame about like right here. And then for the overhead shot, you can see about how close that is to me. If I just kind of do this way, let's just pretend this is the microphone. So it'd be out of frame here. We'll just pretend the thumb is it, and be about like this, which is about, you know, that close to me with the thumb. So so with that, you can use a bunch, like there's tons of different microphones. I know the Deity is good. The Rode Video Mic Pro is also, you know, a good option for that, but there's just tons and tons of options. So it's going to be dependent on your budget and that sort of thing as well. But, you know, White Noise Studio would probably be a great person to recommend, you know, some good mics to you. But when it comes to, you know, the setup for your live stream, it really comes down to like how you want things to look, how you want things to sound, and that sort of thing. There's also on the how you want things to sound side of things, there's also the proximity effect. So you can hear, like, as I get closer to this, how it's more, you know, like I'm more like boomy and all of that versus, you know, when I'm further away from it. Same exact thing goes for like shotgun microphones. So, you know, the placement and how close you are to it and how you want your voice to sound, how loud you are, like, you know, you don't hear it, but like I'm pretty loud right now. So, you know, like when I'm talking during these live streams, like I'm pretty loud. But if I wanted to, you know, if I wanted to quiet it down and I just wanted to, you know, just kind of talk in a much lower voice, let's say I was getting into like a late night radio show type of thing, and I just wanted to bring my voice down, you know, that way I would turn up the audio here and on the interface a little bit, and then I would just bring my volume down and I would just get much closer to the microphone. And by doing that, you know, it just creates more of like an intimate vibe with the audio versus when I'm, you know, sitting back here and I'm just kind of, you know, screaming at you guys. Not really screaming, but, you know, like I'm pretty loud right now. Let's see here. So I'm going to keep scrolling down here. So how many cameras do I use now? So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so right now I have 5 that I use for this particular setup, but I also have another camera over there for making videos, and then I have another handheld that you see. It's kind of in frame right here that I also use, you know, if I'm doing, you know, if I'm doing videos as well, or if I'm just going to, you know, just run around. Great recommendation, Coffee Talk and Tech. Yeah, the Rode pod mic is also a really good mic. It's like $100. I've got a pod mic over there. Really, really good mic. When I got the Procaster, this thing, I got, there we go. Now it went down, I think. Yep. Or it's on the way down. Yeah. But when I got the Procaster, I got the pod mic with it, and it sounds great. It was actually made to work with this, and it sounds fantastic. Let's see. Would you collaborate? Yep, we did that one already. All right, I'm just going to scroll down here, and we're going to start this over. So so I'm going to hop into the forum, going to answer a question, get your questions. I'm going to answer a question in the forum, get your questions ready, because I'm going to pull them. I'm going to pull the next one out of the chat. So don't drop it in there yet. Just put a Q in front of it and just get ready to drop it in there. And then I'm going to go through and do another rapid fire after I answer this one. So this one is from Chris Tells Facts, and they do facts and knowledge for the content. Oh no, we did this one already. So this one is from Tinkerman Mick. Hey, so Tinkerman Mick just crossed 20,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. So for those of you channel members that know Tinkerman Mick, he just crossed 20,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. If you know him, then you know him already. But if not, you might recognize him from a video that I have for members on my YouTube channel, to where I talk about how to color grade your footage. That actually is using his screenshot to do that. But I just wanted to congratulate him on crossing that 20,000 subscriber milestone as well. High five, fist bump to you. So the type of channel is Xbox repairs and tips. The goal of the channel is full-time YouTuber. Question: when you take on a sponsorship for a good company for advertising their product and they offer you a percentage on CPM, do you still make money on AdSense or does the company pay you instead? How does this style of sponsorship work? So first off, me personally, I would not do a deal that would be based on my CPM. So the way that I do it when it comes to sponsorships is I look at it like I'm bidding on something. So instead of looking at it like, okay, there's all these formulas out there and, you know, a lot of them are based on your CPM. The way that I look at it is when I publish this piece of content, I could publish any content on my YouTube channel. When I publish this piece of content for a sponsor, then I'm taking away from something that I could promote as an affiliate. I'm taking away from bringing attention to something of my own. I'm taking away from bringing attention to something of, you know, that a friend has. I'm taking away from, you know, from other opportunities. So because of that, I include that in the cost of what it is that, you know, of the things that I work out. And in terms of like, you know, basing things on the CPM, your CPM comes down to like ad inventory. It comes down to, you know, who's seeing your videos and that kind of stuff, which, you know, who's seeing your videos is also important to sponsors, but your YouTube's ad inventory could negatively impact your CPM, which in turn would give that company a discount and it would be completely out of your control. So because of that, I would start looking into coming up with a price that's fair to you for your time, the wear and tear on your equipment, the wear and tear on your computer, the cost in terms of, you know, putting out a video for them versus putting out an affiliate video or something else that's going to bring, you know, something else that you do that you might be able to benefit from, you know, considering those types of things when you're putting your pricing together. And in addition to that, another thing that I recommend for any of you who here, just give me a yes or no, who here works with companies in any way, shape, or form when it comes to your YouTube channel from a sponsorship perspective. In terms of, you know, you have companies that give you money or products to make videos about what it is that they're doing. Because a tip that I have for anybody that's doing that is one thing to keep in mind is that when you are working with these companies, a lot of them, like, you know, like if they're reaching out to you, like they already, you know, they already know what it is that you're doing. If they're a good one, they know what it is that you're doing. And because of that, you can often work out multiple videos. So if somebody reaches out to you for a video, I really recommend, so we got, you know, some no's, we got a few yeses in here. What I recommend is when you are when companies are reaching out to you, instead of saying like, you know, hey, yeah, I'll do a video, always, every single time, offer them more than one video. So have your pricing put together so that you have a more expensive single video, and then you have like a 3 to 5 video package for them, where, you know, because they're getting more, the price for each video goes down. And then of course have longer term arrangements built into your pricing as well. So it could be 6 months, it could be a year if you wanted to make that commitment. What I typically try to do is I try to do 6 months or a year, and the reason that I do that is because the brands benefit the most, and I benefit the most, and you guys benefit the most when I'm continually spreading awareness about something versus like just making one video and only a certain amount of people are going to see it. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you are that you're approaching these companies with multiple videos, and just, you know, basically just put together a price list. Like, hey, this is what I have. This is what, you know, this is my, you know, this is the amount of inventory that I have based on how many videos that I upload. And out of that, you know, you want to do like a video a month or 2 videos per month, or, you know, 6 videos over the course of 6 months, you know, and work it out that way. That's going to do a couple of things. One, that's going to help your income be a little bit more consistent. 2, it's also going to keep you off the hamster wheel of trying to get deals all the time. So if sponsors is one of the ways that you're monetizing your YouTube channel, if you're constantly on the hamster wheel trying to get new sponsors coming in, that's fine and that's okay. But life is way easier when you find just a handful of really cool core companies that you can work with, and you work with them over a period of time to, to bring awareness about what it is that they're doing. And that also helps you because then you get to, create relationships with those companies. And then over time, you'll end up like, cross promoting companies to each other. So I've got a thing, and I can't disclose exactly what it is, but, as another way that I'm adding value or trying to add value to one of my sponsors is I'm actually trying to connect two different sponsors right now for the sake of, them having mutual benefit with each other as well. So, in addition to making your video content, as a way, just like when it comes to your videos and your audience, right? You have the thing where you're, value first, right? With your audience, same exact thing goes when you're working with people. Like when you're working with people, in addition to the video content that you're making, try to build bridges anytime that you can, any opportunity that you have to, bring attention to them, even if it's not in your video content. If you're on Facebook and somebody's talking about something, if you have a opportunity to, to spread awareness about them, then do it, right? Because, part of the agreement is, or not part of the agreement, but just part of being a good human is, if they're trusting in you to bring awareness to what it is that they're doing, and they're, paying you for that, or they're giving you stuff for that, the least that you can do is over deliver on what it is that they're doing, right? And what it is that they're expecting. So I really encourage you to do that. But especially if they're doing, longer term deals with you. If it's like one video, then you make that video. And then of course, you would, try to bring additional attention as well. But that whole thing gets way more powerful when you do multiple deals or multiple video deals. Why can't I use robot voiceover? I'm not sure. So I know that I have one here that is called, let's see if I can find it here. It's a voice, what's it called? Voice mod. So I have voice mod, and it works here. And in order to use voice mod, instead of assigning my microphone, or instead of assigning my Rodecaster as the source, I have to assign voice mod as the source, and then I have to connect my Rodecaster to the voice mod. But the downside of that is there's a delay that happens. So since that delay happens, I don't use voice mod because of it. So like if I was talking right now and then I use voice mod, it just creates a delay through everything, and I don't use it because of that. Let's see here. Okay, so drop the questions that you have. Let's see here. Do you have to say a lot of no to collabs to manage your content creating time as you've grown into a bigger YouTuber? So I do have, like on Twitter and just email, from the About Me page, I do have a considerable amount of people that reach out for collaborations. Most of them are people that are just getting started, and the conversations will go something like, hey, I'm trying to figure out, or I'm trying to grow my channel. Would you collab with me? And it's like, no, that's not the, no. Like in that situation, like, no. But if, like if people, approach me, like, for example, like Chris, he approached me and he was like, hey, we actually ended up meeting in person. And he was like, hey, we should do a video together. Maybe I mentioned that we should do a video together. I'm not sure. But, like in his case, even though the audience isn't a perfect match, the value that he had to share with the audience in terms of him doing everything on his phone and being an inspiration in proving to people that you don't need all of this stuff, that you can do it with your phone. Just that by itself is like, yeah. So it's like, he's done well on his channel, plus the value that he's bringing to that collaboration is massive. So because of that, absolutely. But I've also, like through this journey, I know around like 50,000 subscribers, I did a collaboration with somebody that had, like 200, subscribers on their channel. It's fine. Like, I don't care. Like as long as they're adding value, that's what I care about the most. But now, because, I have like a certain standard when it comes to, like the content that goes out on the channel. So because of that, like they have to be able to deliver in terms of what things look like, sound like, in addition to the value. Let's see here. How do I find video ideas that are currently getting views? Of course, you could go to Google Trends. It's actually trends.google.com. Look for anything related to your type of content. Scroll down. You're going to see things that are on the rise. You can make content about those sorts of things. You can also use Tubebuddy's Keyword Explorer in order to uncover just good things that are getting a lot of activity right now in terms of people looking for them. You can use that as a way to come up with good video ideas as well. Am I splitting my audience? Where did this one go? Hold on, I'm scrolling up here. My thing just jumped. Okay, am I splitting my audience if I'm doing Spanish lessons for beginners and intermediate levels? Not really, no. Like if you were targeting beginners, then yeah, then the intermediate stuff would be a little bit outside of that. But if you are going after like, hey, I'm trying to teach people Spanish, and then in that case, you're going to have different levels of people that are coming in because everybody wouldn't fit, a certain level there. So of course, you're going to have people that are at different levels. But one thing that you will notice is that, as you're publishing content, you're going to have people responding to one more than the other. And what I would recommend that you do is when you notice people are responding more to the beginner stuff or to the intermediate stuff, start leaning more in that direction. That YouTube actually recommends this. Like when you notice something's getting more activity compared to something else, then lean in that direction because they found the right viewers for that in terms of their system. And those viewers are responding to what it is that you're doing. So really quick, Karis Gamer, let's see here. I just want to share this really quick. Thank you for sharing the stream out. It says how to get views and subscribers on YouTube. So thank you for sharing this out. I appreciate it. That went out on Twitter there. Thank you. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, we got when creating gaming content, and there's another YouTuber that missed a secret in a past game they did. Would it be good to share your video with that YouTuber so they can learn something new too? No, you don't want to drop your link in the comment section of another YouTube channel. That is extremely frowned upon on YouTube, just because, people look at it like you're just trying to siphon views from them. So I wouldn't. Now, if they miss something, they could have missed something on purpose. They could have missed it in that video so they can make another video about it. So there's that as well. Like they might know about the thing that you're going to talk about or that you're trying to bring to their attention, that they might just have it planned for another video. But of course you could mention it, hey, just want to let you know you missed this particular thing, whatever. You can definitely mention it, but I wouldn't drop a link to it. And I wouldn't say like, hey, I made a video about this on my channel, come and check it. I wouldn't do anything like that. But you could just point it out. Hey, at this point in the video, you missed this particular thing. That's acceptable. Midnight Madness 4x4 says, Nick is right about YouTubers copying you after you find something that works. I can name at least 3 that will follow me at a race to see where I record from because they want the same angle that I shoot. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, they're like literally following behind you. Professor Nez in the house. What's up, Professor Nez? What's up, man? Nice to see you in here. Says, let's see here. As we keep on going, we've got, I put more tags, catchier titles, and more interesting descriptions with my old videos. Without those things, get more views. Do you know why? So when it comes to your tags, that isn't going to be a huge difference between the content, right? That's not going to be the thing. What's going to make a video perform better than another video is people are going to click on it more. People are going to watch it more. The thing that will cause people to click on more is because it's of a higher interest in terms of there's just more people interested in it. And people will also click on it more if it's something that's compelling for them, if you make it easy for them to identify that it's something that they care about or create some type of curiosity or something like that with your outside packaging, which is your topic title and thumbnail. Then those are the things that matter compared to like your tags, for example. So tags, it's easy. You just write some text. Titles, easy. You write some text. Descriptions, it's easy. You write some text. The thing that matters is the stuff that isn't easy. Making thumbnails that people will click on and making the actual video content. The stuff that isn't easy is the stuff that really moves the needle for you. Let's see as we keep on going down through the list. Let's see. I have 1,300 subs due to a short, but now I'm struggling with watch hours. Any suggestions? Absolutely make more of those shorts for sure. But actually for watch hours, you actually need to start making some long form content as well, longer than a short, and just make sure that the content that you're making is also a good fit for that audience that you're trying to reach with. Like make sure your shorts and your long form content are targeted towards the same people. Boom, boom. Okay, so I'm going to drop this link in here really quick, just in case. Booyah. Okay, so as we keep on going down the list, we've got... Okay, Nick. Oh, no, we did that one already. Preston S. is great to see the family. So just as a heads up for anybody here that is in the US or that is interested in traveling to the US. So in September, the end of September, Vid Summit is happening. It's Vid Summit 2021. And there's a lot of just amazing content creators there sharing information. But it is like, if you are a YouTube content creator and this is something that you're doing seriously and that you're wanting to do like professionally, and you're also wanting to learn how to generate income from it, and you're wanting to learn like what's relevant like now when it comes to your, to YouTube and just online video in general, Vid Summit is like the place to go for that. In addition to that, just the networking and the collaborations you can do and all that stuff, it's just crazy. But you can find out information about that. I got a link in the description, but you can just go to vidsummit.com and you can see some of the amazing content creators there that are going to be sharing information. Of course, a lot of the people that you already watch in the YouTube help space, they are, going to be sharing information there. But you also have, like Mr. Beast is going to be there. Graham Stephan is going to be there, sharing information. Christina Smallhorn, who, hangs out here as well. She's going to be there, sharing her experiences that she's had with her YouTube channel in terms of to make it, skyrocket. But a lot of just Matt Pat, a lot of just really smart content creators and YouTube content creators and people that work with and manage YouTube channels, all that good stuff. They're going to be there sharing like all the stuff that they know, me as well. So you can find information for that at vidsummit.com. I just wanted to share some awareness about that really quick. So A plus Russian says, we started posting on Wednesday, 5 short lessons, 200 plus views, 70 plus Facebook followers. But these don't turn into subs on YouTube despite asking. Any advice? So if you are posting on YouTube, people are coming in, but you're sending them over to Facebook, you are kind of breaking like what it is that you should be doing there. So right now, while you're just starting the YouTube channel, I actually recommend that you do not send people to Facebook right now if you can avoid it. What I recommend that you do is try to keep them on YouTube doing YouTube related stuff versus sending them off platform, because what YouTube does not like is they do not like you sending people off platform, especially if you're not getting a lot of views. So if you're not getting a lot of views, then the percentage of people that might be going off can be higher compared to if you're getting a lot of views, then of course, you might be sending a lot of people, but in mass, the percentage might not be as high. So therefore the impact on the video itself might not be as high. But basically anytime somebody leaves your video, that's a negative signal. So, like in my case, right? Like if I do a piece of sponsored content, that's another thing to keep in mind when we were having that conversation about sponsored content earlier. Is, when you're doing these integrations, part of these integrations, depending on, what it is that you work out. And, you guys watch my stuff, so I'll use that as an example. But, like when I have at the beginning of my video, hey, this video is brought to you by blah, blah, blah. And I go through this little spiel and then I say where their link is. And then I sell you some promo code or something like, for all the people that go and they click on that link, that's hurting the performance of that video. So, because of that, you also want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind when you're pricing, that, the performance of some of your content is also going to be impacted by you doing your content that way. There's other ways that you can do integrations, but if you are doing it that way, then that can definitely have an impact as well. So keep that in mind. But in terms of converting viewers into subscribers, so viewers are going to subscribe on your YouTube channel because they see what it is in terms of the value that they're getting from the content right there in that moment. And they'll subscribe from that video. They'll also subscribe if, let's say, they hit your YouTube channel page, or if you say something in your video, like let's say towards the end of your video, you say something, or you just happen to mention it somewhere in your video that you have a whole channel full of that type of content. Some people will subscribe because they think they're going to get, more of that type of content from you in the future, and they see the value in that. Other people will hit your YouTube channel page and they'll be like, wow, they got a bunch of stuff here that's awesome. I don't have the time to watch it. So right now, so because of that, I'll subscribe, come back and watch some more stuff later. So because of that, the value needs to be crystal clear in terms of the content that you're putting out. That value needs to be clear in the content itself. In addition to that, you also need to make it clear in other places like your About Me page. If you have a trailer, make it clear there. If you have channel art, which you should, a channel banner, make sure that the value that you're giving to your viewers is also there as well, just so that when people are interacting with your content in these different ways, that they can see that, hey, this is what this person offers, and they do it on a regular basis, right? So one way that you can do that that's really easy and non-interruptive is just through a little graphic that just, little pop-up graphic, and it says, subscribe for more, fill in the blank, right? And then by doing that, you're basically expressing the value that you have on your YouTube channel for or through the for whatever comes after the word for. It can be more, it can be more like that. That's a generic way to do it. But if you know how to make graphics and stuff like that, you can be very specific about what you put at the end of that, and use that as an additional way to help express your value. Let's see here as we keep on going through the list. Says Super Shiro says, what inspired you to embark on a YouTube channel and career? I love playing COD Zombies, and that's what got me started. For me, I came onto YouTube as I actually did what you're not supposed to do, which is I came onto YouTube, and I when I first came onto YouTube, it was a possible way that I could change the direction of what it was that I was doing every day. So by that, I mean that I initially started my YouTube channel to collect email addresses. And I did that because I was getting into internet marketing. And while I was getting into internet marketing, one of the things that people were saying is how effective YouTube was for generating email addresses. So I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want to do YouTube. I didn't want to be a YouTuber, as crazy as that sounds, because I just didn't know at that point in time. But I didn't want to, be that person. And I didn't want to be me. I go, that's weird, right? But I was like, okay, I'm going to go for this, and I'm just going to, give it a shot, and see how it goes. And I did, and like right away, I started collecting email addresses. Not a lot, but right away, I started collecting email addresses, and then I just kept putting out content, and that whole thing was working. And then I got an opportunity to do another channel with somebody that actually knew what they were doing, because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. And that gave me a great experience, and that experience actually got me hooked on YouTube. And then I came back here after I burned out on that one. I came back here and started making content here. The purpose was all different and all that stuff once I came back. But the initial thing when I first started my channel was to start generating email addresses. So it wasn't something, it wasn't something I was passionate about. I didn't start my YouTube channel at that time. Just being honest, I didn't start my YouTube channel at that time to like make an impact or any of the stuff that, that we talk about now. It was just, for the sake of generating email addresses. And then once I started understanding, after, some time, I started understanding like, the power and potential of YouTube. And then once that clicks, it really changes everything, because once you start understanding like the potential that you have and the impact that you can make through your video content and live streaming content, or just any content that you're publishing to the internet, like once you understand that impact, it really does a number on your brain and can really change, your approach about everything it is that you're doing online. Let's see here. My C Prince says hello to Popcorn. Popcorn, for those of you that don't know, is our puppy. Let's see here. What's the minimum video quality for YouTube? How does YouTube measure watch time, by minutes or second? It's measured technically by, every second you can keep people watching is a win, but they actually do it in seconds, minutes, and hours as well. So basically what you try to go for when you're trying to get into the partner program is you try to get 4,000 hours of watch time, right? But of course, if you're watching a video, then of course, if it's a 5-minute video, then in that case, you're looking at second by second or minute by minute in that particular case as well. And in terms of minimum video quality, like you can upload something that doesn't look that great, but if people respond to it, then that's all that matters. So quality is more about how people respond to what it is that you're doing versus, just having like the best camera in the world, so to speak. Let's see here. So Eric says the Everything Studio at the end of your video, simply say for more video content, like and subscribe, and put some sort of graphic telling people to subscribe. Yep. Let's see as we keep on going. So if you got a question, right now is a great time to drop it.
If you're enjoying the show,
in front of it.
Remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. So let's see here. Waiting for those questions to come in, waiting for those questions, waiting for those questions to come in. And in the meantime, I'll just go take one out of the form while I'm waiting for some of those questions to come in. And this one is from CJ Blasts, and they do animations. They do it just for fun because they like animating. And it says, does more watch time equals more views? Not necessarily. So if you have videos that are great, but nobody's clicking on them, then of course that's going to impact your views. So you have to do all of the things. Like, just having a high click-through rate, but a low performing video means that you're not going to get views. Having a great video in terms of the performance, but nobody's clicking on it, you're not going to get views. So, you have to do all of the things, not just, like, hey, I just got to have a good thumbnail. Hey, I just got to have a good title. Like, you got to do all the things. It's a great question though. So let's see here. So we got some questions here. Should I use tags or is it better to not use them? Because I use tags in some of my videos and I got lower than 10 views, but the video I didn't put tags on got around 360 views. So that's going to be based on the actual performance of the video. The tags really aren't going to make that big of a difference anyway. But the difference in the actual performance of the video is going to be based on how people clicked on it, how much people clicked on it, and how much they watched your video, and what they did actually while they were watching your video. Like, did they comment it? Did they share it with somebody? Did they get to the end and click on another video? Those sorts of things are going to cause a video to perform better more than like a tag, right? So like adding it, like a tag to a video isn't going to make people watch it longer. Before they click on it, they're not going to see your tags anyway. So, the thing that actually matters is, learning how to get people to click through your topic, title, and thumbnail. And then, of course, giving them a great piece of content once they do click on it. So when it comes to music videos, cover songs, the competition is brutal. And no matter what I try with Tubebuddy, I'm never showing up in search results 3 months in, 70 subs, any advice? So if you're doing music in terms of you're doing cover songs, then I would stop thinking about YouTube search as a traffic source, and I would start thinking of suggested videos and home pages as a traffic source. And the reason for that is because you want to make sure that you are optimizing your video around the actual topic of the cover, not necessarily just trying to show up for a keyword phrase. Now, of course, if people are looking for covers of that song and you can identify that through Tubebuddy, then in that case, then, you can, of course, try to get them to show up in search. However, the thing that applies to all of our content also applies to you. And that thing is, like, if your video does show up in search because you're doing all the right stuff, and your video ends up showing up in search, if people don't click on it and they click on the other videos there, and that just keeps happening, then what's going to happen is your video is going to slowly, fall in ranking there. So when your videos do show up there, people need to click on them. People need to enjoy your cover in order for your videos to maintain those search positions. So because of that, just because you are optimizing your content for search doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end up for sure getting search traffic from that, because search, just like home pages and just like recommended videos, it's all performance based. So if your videos don't perform well there in terms of, people clicking on them, watching them, completing the video, that kind of stuff, then your videos won't stay in the search results. I mean, at least not high up in the search results. Let's see here. And on the note of music here, little fun diss track I'm going to hop into real quick.
Check, 1, 2. I'm B to the G, it's easy to see what you need, it's attention from me. I'll give you the shout, get back on the grind and you'll be down for the count, trying to breathe. Your favorite is me, now you hate with the diss. All of that hair hanging there like a chick, man, give me a break. You're standing too close to the camera like Nick. Where is the claim that you say Filmora is hate? Call me a thief for the titles you hate. I taught you the rank, you seem to forget it. I hit it and quit it, and you try to walk in my wake. I'm tossing you.
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait, let's stop. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, something really serious is about to happen, so you guys need to get your notepads out right now. So if you have a notepad handy, or if you just got your phone ready to where you can get a notepad out, get it out right now, because this is going to be epic. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Grand Poobah of YouTube, Daryl Eves.
Grand Poobah?
Man, how are you?
Seriously, Grand Poobah?
I was like, okay, it was all on the fly, man. It's all coming on the fly. How's it going?
Hey, going really well. I'm just preparing for a couple things today, and I saw you, and I miss you, and I'm like, I'm going to have to talk to Dick. Got a little bit of time, so I thought, hey, this is the best way for us to talk since we don't talk anymore. Call.
Yeah, I know, man. How is everything? You doing awesome? I know Vid Summit's coming up. Super pumped for that.
Yeah, that's why I'm working today, is I just prepping for Vid Summit. I'm getting ready to talk to a keynote speaker here just probably in the top of the hour. And I'm really excited about this person. I can't wait to announce this individual, but really grateful for where Vid Summit's at. And I think a lot of us, around the world have gone, and there's been this crazy pandemic, and, we're just kind of yearning to get back to the normal. And one thing that I missed a lot is just hanging out with people that just get it, hanging out with people that just ready to crush it. And so I'm really excited for Vid Summit this year. Yeah,
me too. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream today, just how, like if you're a content creator and you're serious, like if you're just like, hey, I'm just kind of doing it as a hobby, not, like it's not, that big of a deal. Doesn't matter if my channel grows or not, then, then of course it's not for you. But if you're like, what, I want to take things to the next level. I want to really understand what's going on here. I want to do this, professionally. Like you need to go to Vid Summit. Yeah. So that's awesome. So, hey man, you want to field some questions? You want to answer some questions?
Man. I got until the top of the hour, then I have to jump off, but yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to go lightning round. So here's what I need you guys to do. So put a Q in front of your question and just start dropping them in the chat. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to keep answers, relatively short. And we're just going to just start cranking through questions here, because this is a unique opportunity here, having Daryl Eves here, answering questions here on Nimmin Live. So take advantage of that opportunity right now and go ahead and just start dropping your questions in the chat. So very first one. I'm under 1,000, or I'm under 100 subscribers. How can I hit my first 1,000 or even first 100? Daryl.
So even though this is rapid fire question, I'm going to give you a longer answer, because most people in this situation are thinking about views. And I want you to stop thinking about views. I want you to start thinking about the value that you're going to actually bring to a viewer. And I want you to say, what is the highest probability of me getting someone not only to click on the video, but to get it to the completely at the very end. And they're going to have so much value that they're going to want to watch another video. And generally what happens when you release a video, when you upload a video, YouTube gives a little oomph for every video that's being released. And people don't realize that this actually happens. And so if a traffic source is search, you're going to actually rank higher in search just for a period of time until YouTube's able to get its data that it needs to know where to place that in ranking. And basically they're looking at the click-through rate. So the click-through rate is basically what they're looking at, and then what happens next, which is the average view duration. For me, if you have any type of subscribers at all, YouTube's gonna be able to show that new video for them on browse feature, which is homepage and subscription feed. Or if you've had any active views that are actually happening on your channel in a consistent period of time, YouTube's going to actually showcase that video on browse feature. And so those are the ways that you can actually have show up very consistently to really grow. But at the end of the day, most creators, when they're coming on YouTube, make the biggest mistakes is, I'm going to get 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 views, instead of taking a step back and say, I'm going to bring so much value in this video that people are going to subscribe. And when you get into that mindset and when you change that, then it's just like, boom, there it is. And like realistically, I've seen content creators, and I know that you're thinking, oh, it's a lottery or whatever. That's fine. Think what you may, but I have content creators that come on and understand how to bring value to someone, just like Nick does. And people have to subscribe because they're watching video after video after video. Why wouldn't you want to subscribe to something that you're into? So focus in on that. And there's a lot of debate on, how often or so on. I would rather be proactive of really getting a banger title, banger thumbnail, and just really understand that, and then really pull them in with a great hook, and then really look at how do I bring value in that video, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. You got to figure out how you're going to bring that value in. That was the longest answer for that question, but I think it's so needed for so many people here.
Yeah, great answer though. I mean, even though we're like in a lightning round, like if something needs longer time, then, absolutely, longer time is definitely important. And by the way, I know a lot of you are familiar with this already, but this book right here is Daryl's book. So if you haven't checked this out yet, you can get this on Amazon. Just look for the name, it'll come up there. And you can also just go to, it's ytformulabook, right? .com?
Yeah, ytformula.com.
So. ytformula.com. You can get this there as well. But yeah, there's just amazing feedback from this book. So you should definitely check that out as well. So as we keep on going through the list here, I wanted to show that really quick just because Learn Spanish World's like, I love the book. So I just wanted to make sure to show that as well. So let's see here. So Jeff says, what would Daryl recommend that Nick changes on his channel? Ooh, this is exciting. And
So I haven't done a full audit of Nick's channel, but I think when I look at something, he has two things going for him. Number one, he's handsome. So there you go. Got the handsome. You got that look.
We go.
There we go. So you have that going on. No, being all serious. With Nick understands what he's doing. He's putting the time, energy, and effort. And I think the biggest thing is, and this is where I admire the most of Nick and also his brother D, is he actually cares for you guys. Like, he actually cares about you succeeding. And that right there is authenticity that you cannot debate. Like, no one's going to debate that. And I look at the value that he brings to the community, and it's off the chains. Now, he already knows what he needs to do. We've already talked about it before. And in life, and consistency is a problem. He knows when he had the biggest growth, and he knows what he was doing to get that biggest growth. So I'm not going to lecture him on what he's going to need to do on his channel. He already knows, and you know it, Nick. We've talked about it already. Yeah. So okay, there we go.
So next up, does category matter? If so, would you put building my dream house? Oh, if so, where would you put building my dream house?
Okay, category doesn't make any sense after 2013. Just don't even worry about it. Just put whatever you want. It doesn't have no relevance whatsoever.
Should I leave my bad videos up or take advantage of making a new channel?
Go look at someone like Mr. Beast and see his library of when he started posting content on YouTube when he was 12 years old. Yes, he did prune some of his videos out that weren't necessarily conducive to his brand, but he left them up, and you can evolve. The only thing that I would be 100% cautious with when you leave up older videos that are still bringing a ton of views, those are active viewers that their first experience probably was a different video than you want them to currently watch. And so you have to take that into consideration if you're going to prune that. We prune all the time, when we pivot, but it doesn't necessarily, if it's kind of in line with your audience viewer would like this video and this video, then you know what, they can see you evolve. And it's great to have that as, kind of a historical record of what your channel's been about.
When you say prune, the only thing I can think about is Loki. I don't know why.
No,
because they're in there pruning, making them disappear so soon.
Dude, I'm telling you, that is the best Marvel TV show ever in all existence.
Yeah, it's great so far.
Are you caught up?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I just caught up with the this week's episode last night. So it's good, man. I'm loving it.
I gotta show you a meme. I mean, the whole thing about it. I mean, so me and my family, we're one. Oh, it's a Twitter, but we'll pull it in here real quick because you have to see this. Like, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it, right? Let's see. Am I allowed to share my screen? Let's see here.
Here, let me take this one down, and then you should be able to.
Okay.
There we go. Boom.
Does this say anything to you?
Nice.
In that last episode. Oh man. That was so good. I'm sorry. Okay, so anyway, there we have it.
Hey, so the next question is, and I actually had some people, a handful of people were asking this earlier as well. With Vid Summit, is there going to be the online version as well? I'm assuming there is, but just the official, the official word. There's going to be
for the last 8 years, we've always streamed it. It's always a digital pass. You can get all access to every talk at every Vid Summit, and we continue to do the same. When you purchase a digital pass, it's only for that year, unless you've been doing that year over year.
There we go. Let's see here. So we've got this one specifically for you. Says, this is from Video Game Madness. Says, while making videos is a good thing or bad thing when people don't give feedback on videos, because with feedback, you can make your videos better or trying to improve, right?
I'm a big believer in getting feedback, and the type of feedback that I want to get is the feedback that doesn't lie. There's no lie when your feedback is you had so many impressions and your click-through rate's like 2%. That's feedback. That's actual feedback that YouTube's saying that 2% of the people clicked on it out of the type of impressions that you had. And so I always try to get higher than that. And I try to figure out my baselines. Another type of feedback is how many people jumped out or bounced in the first, 30 seconds of the video. You know, is it 10%? Is it 20%? Is it 40%? You know, those are things that you can see that there's some disconnect there from the title and thumbnail, or what was promised in that title and thumbnail and what was delivered in those first 30 seconds. And so that's what I look for. And you might say, Daryl, I don't get those types of views. The sample size, all you need is 100 people watching the video. You don't need to go any more than that, and you'll have enough data to understand where it's coming from. But if you're brand new and you're trying to get feedback from other creators, that's great. What I would say is you just be your worst critic and say, okay, how can I actually make this more valuable, and how can I actually make it more shorter? And I know that a lot of people are saying, well, why would I want to make it shorter? Well, that actually increases your chance of getting people to the end, because it's like punchy. It's you know, it's something that's there. It's not intimidating when they see a 30 or 40-minute video. And then you can kind of see where your legs are at, and you'll be able to analyze that data and say, okay, boom, let's go from there and check it out.
Yeah, I get this question a lot. And my thing is that the thing that I say for this one is you should learn how to get an organic response first before you run, you know, before you even consider doing any type of ads for your channel. And in addition to that, you know, it's also advantageous to know what you're doing if you are going to run ads on your channel as well. What are your thoughts on running YouTube ads on a new channel?
Yeah, in my book, I actually talked about the only time I'd ever run ads on a channel, and we did it as a case study. We got 120,000 subscribers out of it, so I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but it has to be very
But you know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, but it has to be strategic.
Though. Yeah. Yeah.
So the difference is we had a really big shout out from some YouTubers, and they said, we are actually fans of this channel. We got the permission to use that as a clip. And then 2, we just basically said, anyone that's fans of this channel that hasn't seen the video, the collaboration that we were doing with this big creator, that they actually saw the ad, then they watched the video, then they actually subscribed. So the CTA wasn't getting them to subscribe, but it was to watch the video and to engage from there. And, you know, it worked, and I'm not going to deny that, but I've literally tried every possible way to get someone to subscribe and to be connected to you via ads, and it just plain doesn't work because there's no emotional authenticity connection from it. It's a advertising transaction. And trust me, I've built some of the biggest channels on the platform, and I would take 100%, organic first, you know.
So, Daryl, most of the people that are hanging out here, they are under 1,000 subscribers. So, because of that, for you know, from your experience, for the majority of people that are here that are in that range, if you were to give, let's say, 3 to 5 tips, things that they should make sure that they're just focusing on, when they're just getting the ball rolling on their YouTube channel, what would those be?
Understand the viewer, understand how you're going to bring value to the viewer, and then be obsessive with that title and thumbnail. I would 100%, instead of spending money on ads, I'd spend money on getting one to do some Photoshop for you, or if you don't know Photoshop, just really getting those thumbnails to really be enticing. And then the video itself, just take it from a viewer's perspective. I think all of us have our creator's hat on when we create content, and I can say the biggest thing that I do is I have the viewer's hat on, and I just know when they're going to bounce. When I disengage, that's when something needs to change, or there needs to be a juxtaposition or a cut, or it needs to be tightened or even cut out. It's something that you have to be willing to do. And a lot of creators just think, oh, I'm magically going to get all these views, but wouldn't put in the time and the preparatory time to make sure that the video will perform.
And for newer content creators, like when they're getting that ball rolling, let's say for the people that they're getting some activity on their YouTube channel, but they're not necessarily like thriving yet. For channels that are kind of in that space, what are some? Do you have any like mistakes that you typically notice that people typically make when they're kind of in that zone where they're trying to get the ball rolling, but it's just not rolling?
Yeah, I think that the biggest mistake is not looking at the data that you have and assuming a lot and not validating your assumptions. And so it's not bad to have assumptions. It's not bad to really have a good hypothesis. But what we got to do is this what people are going to like? I look and I'm so obsessed with the viewer, like more than you can ever imagine. Like when someone hires me, like we're just getting ready to launch a new channel for our company, and I've literally spent 6 months trying to figure out the viewer. 6 months. We haven't even put out a video yet.
Nice.
And every year we put out a couple. We put two channels out a year, or create two new YouTube channels a year. But 6 months of really defining it, and I think that's something that everyone needs to do, because I think we're a little disconnected. It's more about the creation of the video than the person receiving the video. And so great tip on that. You can get my book. It's in part 3 of the book called Recon and Research. That's something that I do every day, of really understanding what's happening in similar type of genre, similar type of creators, and see how they're responding. But I'm not watching the creators. I'm watching the viewers to see how the viewers engage with it, and the footprint that they actually leave on a video. And then I'm trying to make a good hypothesis of their psychology, of why did they find this repulsive? Why did they find this engaging? Why did they find this, enlightening? And I try to get those elements and see patterns from there.
And just for a quick reference, just for those of you, just for the people that are in the chat that maybe they haven't ran across, you or your information yet. How many gold play buttons are you up to?
27. Yeah.
27.
Yeah. We're about 28 in a couple of weeks, but it's,
nice.
And those gold play buttons, I have a lot more, cause I've worked with creators that got them, but I can't take credit for those, but I can for the 27 that we have. We basically had a plan. We had 0 subscribers, 0 on the thing. All we had was a plan and an idea, and we executed on that plan. And so, I mean, we got 3 here, and then there's just 6 or 7 over there, and a couple just that are sitting around. Just
taking you
right
full
here.
screen there, just so they can see them, there.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. I mean, I and I really could care less. They're just like all over the floor for that, but it's more
so many play buttons that he's just like, they're just like laying around the place. That's great. Love it.
It's funny. It is actually pretty funny, and people are like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know.
So let's see here. So any advice for an animated channel that tells different guest stories? How to make that connection with an audience?
First off, animation is really powerful. I think it's a medium that can really connect on a level deeper than anything else, because endless is the possibilities. You're not like restrained from things that you can't do just in real life. But the animated version is like who's going to be watching this. Now there's a couple animated series that I love on YouTube, and they're geared more for essay-driven type things. So it's just more teaching you, informing you. So I probably try to figure out who is the audience, what they're trying to engage with. And the thing for it is the experience. It's the experience of the YouTube channel, of who's actually watching and engaging with that content and what they're watching next. And so, if it's an entertainment, like Meat Canyon, he does a great job. He has, bajillions of views on it. Does a great job getting people to come back, because he takes someone that is a guest story, and he creates this random craziness of a YouTuber or a celebrity, and they put it in a small animated short, which is great. You have Odds One Out that tells stories about his life, and he does it through the perspective of that. James does a great job on it. So they're just really trying to find the vertical, and if you don't see the vertical out there, I don't think you're looking close enough, because it's there. It's been so aged on YouTube that you can pretty much find anything there. You just need to take time to see what's actually out there.
Nice. And in terms of, this is from Yumi and Cicely, says, what are the most important pieces of data to look at besides CTR and viewer retention?
Traffic source. I would say traffic source, and then look at the CTR and average view duration and average percent viewed out of that. Because traffic tells you the intention of the viewer. And that's why I'm so obsessed with it, is because, if they came through search, well, they were searching for something, just keep that in mind. And if it comes from browse, that means they might be coming onto YouTube for the first time, and they see it on the homepage. People are not just going back to the homepage to watch. Once they get sucked into the ecosystem, that's where they're watching a video, and then they see what's next up. That's called suggestion. And so I'm very particular of where that traffic's coming from, and then understanding that a good click-through rate is dependent on the traffic source. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they say, oh, this is my CTR for this video is like 7.6. And when they drill in deeper on a traffic source, they realize, oh, wait, no, my click-through rate on browse feature is actually 13.7. But, on search and suggestion, it's a lot lower. And so that's where it brings the average down. So
this is a really good one here from Natalia Crispin. Great question. In terms of managing all the channels that you have, like, what does that look like from like, from the eyes of Daryl? What does that look like? Like when you wake up, like okay. what's the process that you go through?
It's insanity. Like I don't even know why I do this. I just insanity. But in any given time, our company's handling 100 plus channels. Some that we own, some that we co-own, and some that we don't own. And it's just more about really looking at the data. I can honestly say this, and if I swear that if Nick doesn't have a link for this, then I'm very disappointed in the description. But my lifesaver has been Tubebuddy for all the years that I've been doing channel management, because I can do a lot of things quickly. If you haven't had Tubebuddy and you're not utilizing it the right way, it's a channel management tool, and I think people use it more of, oh, I'm doing it to optimize. Well, channel management's a lot more powerful when you actually know how to manipulate it in a way to help you really do it. So I probably save hundreds, if not thousands of hours a month because of the automation that I'm able to do there. And so with channel management, I usually have a team that's over a specific amount of channels that's there, and then I work with the team. But I'm a I hoard data, and so I like to see what's actually happening. And so if there's anomalies, things that's going up, downs, and sideways, I want to know about it and see if there's a pattern of consistency. And that helps me understand, what's actually happening in the landscape of YouTube, but also helps me navigate what to do next. So.
Nice. Yeah, but I've often wondered that myself too. Like with all those channels, like when you wake up, once you go through like your
go to first. The first thing I go to, I can guarantee it, is the ones that I care the most about. So there's a channel called The Chosen. That's the first place that I go to, like 100%. So we're I think what 1.2 million subscribers. We just crossed the million just a couple of weeks ago. But it's just the ones that I'm personally babying. And it's like, yes, I might have a team that's executing on it, but it's just more about, hey, I'm kind of, pulling the strings on that. I would say there's probably 5 channels that I look at consistently. And then, throughout the day, it depends on the day of the week. I'll dig in deeper into something, but I actually get reports. So I have automated reports come to me of each of the channels that are there. And then anytime that there's an anomaly, it's really weird software that we have. But anyway, anytime there's an anomaly, good or bad, it basically triggers a report to me, and then I can kind of dig into it. But it does it collectively over the course of all the channels that we have.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice. Some secret software that you've got on the back end. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Well, we got to love the secret software, man. I mean, that's the way it rolls.
Sure. And especially, like at that level too, like investing into stuff like that, like it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Gaming with Christy says, I don't want to show my face. So I'm having a character made. What's a good way to incorporate this into my channel? I'm
sorry. Go ahead. No, I didn't. If we're rapid firing back and forth, I don't mean to answer everything. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you can go ahead. Like this is a rare opportunity. So I love having you answer stuff on here. I'm just trying to not fry your voice out before your stream.
Literally, I'm okay. I'm actually trying to finish with my audiobook too. So I'm I'm not doing a stream today. I have to get that keynote speaker for Vid Summit and then try to get a little bit closer with the audiobook.
You were on the stream with the keynote speaker.
No. It's like trying to lock the deal in. So yeah.
Hey, so I have a question for you with the audio version of your book, because there were a few people that asked about that. Do you have an estimated time when
the fall? Yeah,
in the fall? Nice.
Yeah, in the fall. It was supposed to be in June. I suck. So what can I say? It's in the fall now. I'm working on it. I really
busy is busy, right? So it's like, you got to do what you got to do. Like with recording an audio book, that would be interesting, because like reading is one thing because it's in your head, but then reading out loud and reading like your own stuff, like I bet that's like an awkward thing, like as you're going through that process, and then also trying to be engaging in the communication. Like I would think that would be exhausting, like going through that process of reading the audiobook.
Yeah, it is. And to me, I'm an audiobook junkie, and so I'm like, oh man, this sucks. And so I have to redo it. And so I don't know. We'll get there. We're just analyzing and adjusting at the time. But answer the question of the lady that offered that. My favorite YouTubers, like I don't watch YouTube at all for entertainment or whatever. Just it's work to me. But the only channels that I actually watch consistently is called Wendover Productions. And Cold Fusion. Just look those two up. They do not, they're essay-driven channels, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with those videos.
Could you say the names one more time? Because I'm going to write those down as well.
Yeah, Wendover Productions and Cold Fusion. And Wendover Productions is both of them are essay-driven things of what's happening around the world, and they just give a really, really in-depth essay of the things that you didn't know that you needed to know. And really, really cool. Like one of them a couple of weeks ago was about the shortages that are happening, but it really gave you the depth of what was actually happening instead of our perceived understanding of what that is. Nice. But yet they don't show up on camera. And once again, the biggest gamer, from my perspective of all time, is Dream. He exploded in 2 years, got 24 million subscribers. And it just has this mass following. He hasn't showed his face either. So like you don't have to show your face, but you have to bring value. And it's harder to bring value without your face. I'm here to tell you right now. It just is hard because to connect with the viewer, it's going to need to be through your content and not through you. So that's what's difficult.
Superchat.
So Super Zero says, hey, Daryl, any tips for the science of making engaging titles? I have goofy fun playing zombie games, but only get 20 to 30 views and only over 300 subscribers.
Yeah, I'm going to defer this one to my book. Get my book. Like, seriously, I go through every variation that you could possibly think about, spend really, really in depth on that. And I'm not trying to just get a sell out of it, but the whole reason why I made it is so that the basic things that you need to know as a content creator needs to be elevated for you to succeed, because the landscape has changed. And so you just can't have a subpar title. You need to be able to have an amazing title with an amazing thumbnail. And so, yes, get the book. Yeah.
So Daryl, because you're getting close to your time here. So, for the people that are hanging out here in the stream today, you have just a vast, experience when it comes to YouTube, and you've also seen a lot of opportunities that content creators have had. You've seen, I'm sure countless lives changed. Me being one of those people as well. Like from your perspective and your experience, for the people that are just getting started right now, what types of things do you think that they should keep in mind when it comes to pursuing the opportunity that YouTube presents?
I love that question, and I loved how you phrased that question. I believe that you need to set goals on becoming better as a content creator, and I think those goals need to be obtainable. One thing that I do, I have a mentoring program for 12 weeks that I take my students through this. The first thing that we do is goal setting, because that's just me. That's my whole life. And I do believe that you need to be focused, and then you need to have a plan to achieve those goals, and you need to have accountability to reach those goals. So that would be first. And I think too, this is the biggest one, would be a student of YouTube. And not to dissuade you from watching Nick Nimmin or myself or anyone that's the YouTube educator, but being a student of YouTube isn't learning about YouTube from people like us, but it's actually observing other content creators, and you're asking why. Why did they do this? Why did the audience respond to that? Why did they choose that title? Why are they not using tags? Why, is that thumbnail this way? And once you start seeing patterns like that, it's something that you can say, well, what if? What if I actually learned from this and applied it into what I'm able to do? And then you're supplementing that too with the information from Nick or myself or whoever, okay, now I understand the mechanics behind it. But I can't tell you how many people to this day are so obsessed with their own channel in the sense of understanding how it works until they reach fame, and then they hit the fame and get the viewership, and then they stop caring. And then guess what happens? They call me up and say, hey, I need help. This is like, it's dying. I'm like, well, you stop doing what you got to get there. You got to always be pushing the envelope. And I work with one of the bigger creators on the planet. And today he sent me 5 texts on video ideas. And he's like, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, 2 of those were really, really bad. You know, one's really good. That's great. You know, and I think at the end of the day, you know, I can't tell you how many conversations I had with him about he wants to level up his content. His content's really good. He has 50 million video views in a week on one video. But yet he's like, dude, it's getting stale. That's the reason why he's like getting, you know, 50 million video views on the videos, because he's not satisfied with his current content. He always wants to push the envelope further. And so that is something that I think we can learn from. And then I would say goals, then be a student, and then always not be satisfied with your content. And then the last one is be consistent. And that means in your day too. And the consistency of how you're putting out content is really important. But the more about the consistency I care about is the consistency of how you analyze your content and adjust your content as needed is really, really important. And so some of this might feel overwhelming when you're brand new on YouTube. That's why I wrote the book. That's why Nick Nimmin's here. You know, he can help you navigate through all these things. But the reality of it all is when you want something bad enough that you're willing to give up sleep to be a student, to crawl on glass, to take it to the next level of understanding, you're willing to give up time, energy, and money for that. That's what it's all about. So I got to go. He just came into this room. So thank you, Nick, so much, man.
Thank you so much, Dale, for coming on. I super appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Super excited to see you at Vid Summit here in September. And thanks again for coming on. And I'll see you soon.
Thank you, man.
See you. Yeah, so Daryl, I've got links to his book down in the description. I've got links to Vid Summit down in the description. Of course, you can go to vidsummit.com and you can see the information there for Vid Summit. But you definitely, if you're not subscribed to his YouTube channel, you need to subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. Doug, if you wouldn't mind dropping a link to his YouTube channel here as well, I would super appreciate it. I think you did earlier, but if you could do that just one more time, I would appreciate it. But like, in addition to these live streams, like Daryl will sometimes go live, like right after these live streams. And when he goes on, he also, you know, like some of the information that he was sharing there, he'll do interviews with, you know, with different content creators and talk about, you know, their experiences. And then sometimes he'll just go on and just do trainings and Q&A type stuff like we're doing today. So I really recommend that you go subscribe to his YouTube channel. And then, of course, you check out the information about Vid Summit in his book as well. Because, you know, all of these things, like he was talking about before, you know, these are all things that are going to help, you know, educate you and help you just get a deeper, you know, a grip on what it is that you're doing here on YouTube, which is really important for those of you that are wanting to, you know, turn it into something, you know, long-term, wanting to make it a career, wanting to, you know, do this sort of thing like full-time, or just to, you know, just to be able to make the biggest impact that you can possibly make with the type or with the time that you spend, you know, here on YouTube, you know, publishing content. So with all of that said, I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the stream today. I hope that you learned something during the stream. And just like he was saying, you know, as he was logging off, like, you know, when it comes to YouTube, especially, you know, for those of you that are just getting started, you know, when you are, you know, watching live streams like this and you're hearing all this information getting thrown at you, you know, from all these different ways based on, you know, all these different things, you know, sometimes it can be really easy to get overwhelmed to where, you know, you're like, oh man, I've got all this stuff to do. I got this huge mountain to climb. But I encourage you just to, you know, instead of trying to do everything all at once, you know, just focus on taking that next step, right? Like take something that you've learned today, you know, write down, you know, whatever that thing is, or, you know, 2 things that you've learned today and say, okay, I'm going to focus, you know, over the course of this next week to, you know, learning that thing in my YouTube analytics. You know, there was a lot of talk today about traffic sources. You know, I mentioned it a few times. Daryl mentioned it. So, you know, just going into your YouTube analytics and figuring out, okay, where do I find my traffic sources? How do I find my traffic sources for each video? You know, where do I look? Which I can tell you right now, go into your, click into your video. go into your analytics for that video, go into the advanced analytics. You can see just the general traffic sources, but in order to see the information that we're always telling you to look at, you need to go into the advanced and then traffic sources there. And then you can start seeing like your click-through rate from the different traffic sources, your view durations, all that good stuff, to where you can start pulling information from that. But what you want to do is you just want to take some information that you learned today and start applying it. Because if you're not applying it, then, then you're just continuing just doing the same thing. So because of that, if you learned anything that you're like, yeah, I think that I should, be trying to, figure that out or trying to apply that to my channel, I encourage you to just take that, thing or two and just really focus hard on trying to apply that to what it is that you're doing, so that you can get that deeper understanding over time. And that once you get that worked out, then you can move on to, the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing, until you accomplish what it is that you're trying to do on your YouTube channel. So again, thank you everybody for hanging out during the stream today. Mods, thank you for holding it down. Daryl, who's left, thank him as well for dropping in here. That was completely unexpected and awesome. So everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend, and I will see you next Saturday, same time, same place, 9 a.m. Eastern, and have an awesome rest of your day. See you next time.